Fantasy football pregame will be live from Texas Stadium, from Jerry World, Sunday morning. I don't believe fans can come in because the gates aren't open yet.
But try get in.
But
see what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's
100%.
the worst that could happen?
Yeah, of course.
A minor fee, jail time.
I promise if you try to come see us on Sunday morning and you get arrested, I will send George Savaricas to bail you out. I make that promise. I make that promise, 100%.
Great use of George's time. He's really glad. He's probably really glad he signed up to do this show.
It's his role. It's
George knows a lot of bail bondsmen. I'm just saying. I'm pointing it out there. I'm not saying why, but he just does. He has them in all spots around the world.
Yeah, he's a guy who gets stuff done, George.
He does.
Yeah, he's like a poor man's wolf in Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
Poor man's Harvey Keitel,
Yes.
George Savaricas.
Exactly right.
Fantasy Football Pregame with Matthew Berry.
I can honestly say it wouldn't be the first time I've had to bail someone out over the years, as we are live on site for Week 4 of Fantasy Football Pregame. AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, getting ready for the Sunday night matchup. The Cowboys hosting the Packers, the return of Micah Parsons, and what a thrill it is for us to be on the field.
Micah's coming back tonight?
Who knew?
Just only for one night.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
one night only. Back to Dallas.
I really should start reading or go to the pre-show meeting.
Yeah, you got to catch up. George Savaricas, Matthew Berry, Jay Croucher, and Lawrence Jackson.
How cool is this? I'm going to take 1 minute here.
No, go right ahead. It's your show.
You can talk next time.
I just want to take a moment here. Like we are doing a fantasy football pregame show, literally at AT&T Stadium. We are on the sideline here. There will be an NFL game behind us later tonight. I don't know. I think that's cool because fantasy football pregame shows don't get to do this.
It is.
No, that's very cool. Also cool is you remember to pick up the microphone this
Yes.
time to talk into it.
That was
Great.
plus
Great
240.
result. Yeah. The dog catches.
Kick us off with the toast. Now that we're
other than toasting us, I'm going to toast Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin back, his first game since Week 7 of last year. Remember when he was injured. This is a guy that was the 5th best wide receiver in fantasy football on a points-per-game basis. Reports are they're going to use him a lot. I think if you have Godwin, you're putting him back in your lineup. Welcome back. Not soon enough. Welcome back, Chris Godwin. Toast. Cheers to you.
Very good. My toast, there's going to be a lot of focus on Micah Parsons today, naturally, so there should be. The best defensive player in football so far has been Myles Garrett, who I think is 1A, 1B with Parsons, is the best defender in the league. And the reason I'm toasting Myles Garrett is that if not for Myles Garrett, this Lions-Browns game would not be interesting at all. But the Browns' defense is legitimate. It might be the best in the league. So thank you, Myles Garrett, for making a game interesting that otherwise might not have been.
there you go.
All right, there you go.
Hey, for me,
Jay, just so you know, sorry, Lawrence, I'm just going to interrupt for 1 second. Just so you know, another way to make games interesting is to bet on them.
Sure.
It's something to just a heads up.
I haven't done that before.
No,
Maybe
but you should look into it, whether if you have a fantasy player in it or if you have some money on an outcome that happens in the game, makes it interesting.
Okay.
Very novel concept.
Something to think about.
all right, now it's my time.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to give a toast to Brock Purdy, talking about another return. Brock Purdy back in the lineup today. Mac Jones held the fort. And I think Brock Purdy, he's become a quarterback where you can kind of lean on him more so. You saw that in Week 1. So toast to Brock Purdy, man. Get them 49ers right.
And 49ers, one of 6 unbeaten teams. My toast is going to be to Kyle Shanahan, who has been coaching his ass off beginning of the year. Mac Jones, the last couple weeks, was under center. George Kittle's been on IR. Ayuk's not coming back till second half of the season. They have their best player, Bosa, out for the season. They are one of 6 unbeatens at 3-0. If they take down the Jags today with Brock Purdy back in the mix, it would be a 4-0 start. Kyle Shanahan has never won Coach of the Year. Could this be the year, with the narrative around all the injuries at the start of the season, if they're able to win the NFC West and potentially be a threat in the NFC, that maybe he finally gets that award?
It's shocking that he's never won Coach of the Year. The year that he won 10 straight to end the game, in the year, Jay?
The year that he went 6-0 with the last pick in the draft.
Yes.
As his 3rd starting quarterback.
Yes.
Do you think that should have been Brian Daboll
Yes.
at 9-7-1? I don't know. Yeah, I probably would have voted for Shanahan there.
Yeah, Brian Daboll, who the preseason win total in the Giants that year was 7, and he got two extra wins.
Well done. Yeah,
Right.
No, it's a travesty. I'm still very upset about that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's no Joe Flacco comeback player of the year, but it's
that might be second for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
some demons.
It's that time of the season. We already have a game underway in Dublin, the international series kicking off for the NFL. The Steelers up 14-6 on the Vikings at half. DK Metcalf has been busting out so far. 4 catches, 122 yards, and a touchdown, part of an 80-yard receiving touchdown. So monster fantasy game. We're only halfway through, Matthew.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. Carson Wentz doing Carson Wentz things, but but DK Metcalf, there was a shock, by the way. There was a surprise, and hopefully everyone woke up early enough to, if nothing else, follow me on social media or some other social media. No, but Jaylen Warren was a surprise inactive. The expectation was that he was going to be able to go, and so he went out. Kenneth Gainwell gets the start. We've seen some Caleb Johnson in there, but Kenneth Gainwell gets a touchdown. So if you had the guts to start Kenneth Gainwell, props to you. Cheers to you. Actually, there you go.
Well done, Matthew.
It's still early
Sticking with
here.
the toast segment. Props to you and the toast
Yes,
segment.
this is what I've been waiting on.
Here we go.
right here.
That's what we've been waiting for.
Yes.
Matthew Berry got to run a 40-yard dash
let's
right
please
now.
do that.
Hey, Aloha Bricks, making sure that they are not in the regulars top 10 next week.
I love the regulars power rankings.
Power rankings.
I mean,
Aloha Bricks was
hey,
not
man,
in the power rankings.
I thought
last
Tej
week.
We
was
got
an omission as
we got
well.
the goal line right here behind us, Matthew.
Yeah.
You go from goal
But
line.
ask producer Steven, so if we've got a free 5-minute segment to watch me run 40 yards, we can do that. We'll do that. I'll do something.
I think we should all race each other.
Lawrence will win.
There we go.
Lawrence will win. I will likely finish last.
Yes.
Would be my prediction.
Yeah, it's
Fair.
really a Crouch vs. Savaricas battle for second.
Yeah.
It's the real tension there.
The real clash of the Titans
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
40-yard dash.
I'd actually crush you, George. I would come second.
Oh, you
the-
crushed me.
Yeah, really
Interesting.
Let's put some money on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll admit defeat.
I
bet
think
George.
the race is between Jay and George.
Yeah, that's true.
Lawrence will win, but
Yeah, I
Bring
mean,
it. The regulars also
Lawrence is a
asking-
former college athlete. I mean,
Lawrence played cornerback in the NFL.
that is not
Yeah,
true.
let's just go with that
Yeah,
narrative. right?
exactly.
It gets everything's bigger in Dallas. The regulars have been asking for Flip Cup at the 50-yard line. So
I don't know if we're going to get to that. There will be flip cup though here.
We'll see if we can make that happen. The news early this morning was the surprise inactive for Jaylen Warren. How
Yes.
about we get to some of the other players who have been on the injury report throughout the week? Their status could be unclear, some trending in the right direction to suit up for Week 4. Baker Mayfield, 3 consecutive limited practices. Seems like he's likely going to be a go. How about your guy Bill?
Yeah.
Popped up on the injury report midway through the week.
Expectations are that Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt Bill will go today, but he's had this knee issue. It's going to be a 3-headed monster on the road at Atlanta. I have benched him where I can.
Okay.
So
So you're taking protective measures.
I'm taking protective measures. I have him against you. So I'm still deciding whether or not I want to start him against you. But generally speaking, I put him on my bench. I don't have a lot of great options, unfortunately, because my
Your
team
team's
is so
pretty
beat up.
haggard.
It's pretty beat up. I think all the players that were on that full screen, though, my expectation is they all will play today.
The one that I would flag that's mildly concerning, Devontae
Yeah.
Adams, that on Wednesday it seemed like it was veterans rest. Remember last year he had the lingering hamstring and then he ended up missing a couple weeks. Part of that was he wanted to force his way out of Vegas and ultimately got traded to the Jets. But he has had historical hamstring issues that have been problematic. So that would be one to monitor.
And that is a 4 o'clock game. So obviously make sure you have a pivot and you have somebody, put them in your flex, or just make sure you have another wide receiver that is going 4 p.m. or later. There are 2 Monday night games in case he is ruled out. But I think if Devontae Adams, because we've seen this with Devontae Adams over his career, if Devontae Adams out there, you start Devontae Adams.
100%.
Yep.
Right.
No doubt.
I'm just glad the projections for the site that we use, which will go unnamed, are never wrong. And it has me favored by 16 points over Matthew Berry to go 0-4 for the 2-time defending champ to start the season.
Congratulations. You're favored against the Carolina Panthers. Well done.
Wow.
The mighty Carolina Panthers.
I don't know.
After
They winning games now.
30-0.
Yeah. Powerhouse.
Blowout last week.
I've been favored to win every game this year. So just so you know, the
Role
fact that,
reversal
right,
this
yeah,
week.
Market can
here's
be wrong.
hoping. Yeah, here's hoping.
The only other injury I'd bring up from that, Juwan Jennings, whether he's able to go after missing last week, but he's been trending in the right direction
The
this
reports are that he's supposed to go as well. Sorry,
Yeah,
Jim.
I think he'll go. And I think that Juwan Jennings, it's difficult. We still got to see what his role is in this offense. We haven't seen this team healthy really yet. And Purdy will be back. Ricky Pearsall continues to break out. So I think Juwan Jennings, assuming he goes, you're fine starting him as a flex guy with some ceiling for more. He has high variance. But yeah, I think you feel good about Juwan Jennings in a favorable matchup against the Jags.
He's the epitome of high variance from
Yes.
what we've seen throughout his career. so far. How about we dive into these burning questions? And
yes.
we got a big number for this first one.
This one's
Right out of the
actually
gate.
appropriate.
I
We're
know,
in Texas. Finally, we're in Texas. And
Finally,
Yeah.
it's apropos for
Yeah.
the city that we have landed in as we're taking fantasy football pregame on the road. I think Barry should be the one who's over the flame at 0-3, but
Dude.
we haven't updated the graphics over the past couple seasons.
No.
So we have the Browns at the Lions, and that number from DraftKings that I saw was Browns plus 10, they're 1-2. Lions 10-point favorites at home, 44.5, the over-under. Are you sitting any Lions players against what has been a very stout Browns defense through 3 weeks?
I might consider David Montgomery if I have a better option. I mean, I have David Montgomery at running back 26, so he's right there as kind of a mid-tier flex. The concern on Montgomery is 13 touches a game. He's playing 36% of the snaps. This is Jahmyr Gibbs' backfield. I get it. It's so hard to bench him after he looked so amazing last week, in the big runs against the Ravens. But I don't know. I'm nervous about this Cleveland Browns defense. Week 1, Browns held Chase Brown to 43 yards on 21 rushes. Chase Brown got 21 for 43. Week 2, Derrick Henry was held 11 rushes for 23 yards. Last week, Josh Jacobs, 16 rushes just to get 30 yards. And so now you've got David Montgomery, who's not getting the majority of the workload. Like Chase Brown, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, they all get massive workloads. Montgomery's on the wrong side of a timeshare with Jahmyr Gibbs. And so, like I said, I'm at running back 26. I just got a text from actually my son, who texted me J.K. Dobbins or David Montgomery. I said J.K. Dobbins.
That's fair. And then you look at the receivers, Matthew. Jamison Williams there, 13% target share this season, has yet to see a red zone or end zone target. We know he's more that big play guy. You're basically hoping for, in Jamison Williams, a long touchdown, and that could be tough to come by in a game where if the Lions are ahead, well, how much are they going to have to throw the ball?
For sure. I think Goff is just playing so well. I think, I think he's more of a QB2 than the QB1 he's been playing. But, I do think Williams and Montgomery I might have pause about. And I would lower expectations for Goff. All right. Heather Salerno has a question here, George.
All right, let's take it. Hashtag FF pregame help. This from one of the regulars on the chat on YouTube. Flex PPR Montgomery, Golden, Worthy. The return of Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on what you need, Heather. So Montgomery to me is the floor play. We know he's going to get double-digit touches. We know he's got a shot at a touchdown. Matthew Golden and Xavier Worthy could each get long for one. And so those are guys that could be like 80 yards and a touchdown, or they could be like 3 for 30. So it just depends. Like, it depends on what you need. Like, if you find yourself, here's what I'll say. If you find yourself down big, like, you were playing against somebody that had like Marvin Harrison on Thursday or DK Metcalf today, and you find yourself down big, and you're like I am against George, and you're like, wow, I'm like a double-digit favorite underdog. I mean, I'm a double-digit underdog. You need to swing for the fences. Maybe you go with one of those wide receivers. I do feel, just gut call, that I feel like Matthew Golden has a coming home, a breakout party tonight, back home in Texas and everything like that. So I might swing for the fences there, but I think Montgomery is the safer floor play if you feel good about where you are with the rest of your matchup.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the thing with Montgomery, as difficult as a matchup it is, like they're still 10-point favorites, and there's a chance that Detroit can just run on anyone. Now, they had a tough week 1 against Green Bay in the run game, but seems like they've figured some stuff out in the offensive line. The interior of the offensive line seems to be getting it better each week, so I feel okay about David Montgomery, and I feel amazing, but I think that he is the choice in a nutshell of those three.
Yeah, you just have to temper the expectations. It's so hard to look at David Montgomery this week as opposed to last week when he went crazy against that Ravens defense. But speaking of that Ravens defense, that's who Xavier Worthy is going against. So that's something to think about, too.
I'm starting Xavier. I finally get him back. I mean, my team is so beat up. I lost Mike Evans, and I get Xavier Worthy back, but I lose Mike Evans and Jaden Daniels against you, George.
Which I was really sad to see.
I'm sure, clearly. But my question is what are the expectations here for Xavier Worthy in this game? Like, I think it depends on what else you have, but we just don't know if he's going to play a full complement of snaps. Mahomes hasn't looked great on the deep ball. Now, maybe that's because he doesn't have a connection with Tyquan Thornton that maybe he does with Xavier Worthy, but I don't think Xavier Worthy is an automatic start because he's back. I think it depends on what other options you have.
Yeah, his DraftKings prop has been hovering around the mid-40s, and he's not like a huge chance to score a touchdown either, so he is very much a swing for the fences type of guy, but I wouldn't expect great things as the baseline for Worthy.
Let's dig into more of that Ravens-Chiefs matchup. Ravens favored on the road. Both teams at 1-2, which is surprising for Week 4. We got the Ravens pegged at 2.5-point favorites. Over/under, pretty high implied game total, 48.5. Even in the loss, it was a big Week 3 for Mark Andrews.
Huge week. Yeah.
Have we fully regained trust in Mandrews?
No.
Very succinct.
Wow, okay. Let's move on to the next game, Bears Raiders.
To the 40-yard dash we go.
No, that's it. No.
No, look. His Mark Andrews' last 4 matchups against Kansas City, against Steve Spagnuolo's defense, he's averaged under 6 fantasy points per game, right? That includes the playoffs. Like, he's averaging 27 receiving yards a game. Isaiah Likely is expected back on this game. Isaiah Likely practiced in full on Friday. So Mark Andrews, who's 16th among tight ends in route participation, doesn't have a great utilization score, just 63. Now, I get it. Coming off the big game last week, I'm at tight end 13. So he's a touchdown-dependent tight end too. So, but I'm not putting a ton of stock in the breakout game last week, which was just sort of like this crazy game that went back and forth. I think this will be a tighter game, and it's on the road at Kansas City.
Any of you guys taking the other side?
No, not at all. I would actually put more weight on Isaiah Likely coming back. That's the one big game he had last year early in the season, Week 1, where he went for 112 receiving yards, a touchdown, and nearly won them the game with the toe tap. But I think they need Isaiah Likely in this offense, and I think they get him in there immediately.
Yeah, and I think the other strange thing about that Lions game was, like, Zay Flowers is on a milk carton, and I don't think that's going to continue. I think he'll bounce back in a big way.
All right, we got a question here on YouTube. Flex Jennings or Pacheco?
I'm going to say Jennings. I think he's going to play, and I think it's a nice matchup against Jacksonville. Pacheco is just he's splitting time with Kareem Hunt, and by the way, he's not on the right side of that because at least Kareem Hunt's getting goal line work.
Yep.
You feel better about the chances of Hunt falling into the end zone than you do Isaiah Pacheco, who he just has not looked like the guy we remember from 2 years ago before the injury.
I think mainly this is a question right now because they're going against the Ravens defense, the Chiefs are, and you saw what David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs did to them last week. So, but like you said, unless you're getting the goal line carry for the Kansas City Chiefs out of that backfield, it is scary to start either one of those running backs. Patrick Mahomes is the best runner on the team right now.
Neither of those guys have the explosiveness that Gibbs or even Montgomery has. You know what I mean? Like they just don't. It's just hard for me to see Isaiah Pacheco breaking a long one against the Ravens despite their deficiencies on defense.
Yeah, I don't think either of the guys has cleared 40 yards this season in a game or 50 rushing yards.
By the way,
well, I'll take Mark Andrews there.
Hey.
Yeah, so,
Use them ankles.
Johnny the bartender making a strong push to be on next week's power rankings for the regulars. He writes, I think Barry could run a faster 40 than Mark Andrews. Hashtag use them ankles.
Use them ankles, dog.
Yeah, exactly.
The regulars have spoken.
The mankles. The mankles.
Shameful.
Yeah, I might be able to run a faster 40 than Mark Andrews.
There's actually some questions there's you don't know the answer to. This one you do know the answer to. And Mark Andrews would crush you, Matthew, and it wouldn't be remotely close.
He is a professional football player, and I am most certainly not.
You are
there's just that
merely
little
Matthew
fact
Barrett.
in there. Yeah,
exactly.
4.67 the 40 time for Mark Andrews.
He just looks slow next to Lamar Jackson, but he's not
Is 4.67 is that quicker than 8 seconds?
We did learn Matthew was a tennis standout in high school from his high school buddies last evening, so the man could move a bit as they're getting the field ready behind us for later tonight.
So I grew up in College Station, Texas, Gig'em Aggies, and a bunch of my dear friends from high school live in the Dallas, Texas area, so they came out. We visited and caught up, had a drink, and then you guys all crashed the party to try to learn.
Get all the dirt we could.
And I will be honest, I told my friends, I'm like, go ahead, anything you want. And they had my back. I was surprised. I thought for sure they were going to give you some dirt. But yes, I was a very good tennis player way back in the day.
A young Carlos Alcaraz.
You left out the fro, the Agassi type look that you had.
I had a huge fro. It's weird.
You used to wear the headband too in the
Never the headbands. I was a baseball hat guy. But this is why genetics are cruel. Because when I was a kid, in like the 80s, like I had this big fro. Like you would not believe the picture. I'll try to send it to producer Steven during the break, and we can revisit it, and you can see my fro, how awful it was. But and then now, of course, I have no hair. So it's like I've never just had normal hair. It's very upsetting. Like,
So
just,
Did that happen in just like one day? Like just like one day
just fell
fro,
off.
then next day?
Yeah. No, in
Yeah.
college I had straight hair. Like I sort of looked a little bit like anyway, but whatever. Like George's. But
You and I
whatever.
were twins when you were in
You
college.
still look like George.
Hair has been an issue throughout my life. It's a recurring theme.
So you went
Or the-
from a fro to follically challenged over the years?
Yeah. Dude, it's
Yeah.
been brutal. It's been brutal.
Your hair's like Carson Wentz. You only have extremes of MVP candidate or
Yeah,
backup.
That's exactly
There's
right.
nothing in between.
That is right.
Yes.
Komars,
Yes.
Matthew Jaquan Berry allegations are not going away. He had a fro. Soon we're going to hear he had braids.
Very
Hey, so my
possibly.
man trying to say, hey, Afro, and he bringing back the Jaquan.
Yeah.
That's a good
We-
callback
Talk
from the
about
regulars.
We did actually get that confirmed by Matthew's friends. His middle name is
Yeah.
Jaquan.
Yes, that is factually correct.
Let's see if,
KGEMA89.
let's see if the Wikipedia changes back to Matthew Jaquan Berry again.
As it should. You only find facts on Wikipedia. Next game, couple teams that also have 1-2 records, arguably very different trajectories from Ravens and Chiefs as far as expectations for this season. You got the Bears at 1-2 coming off their first win last week, blowing out the Cowboys at Soldier Field 31-14. They're 1.5-point road dogs at the Raiders, who won the season opener, have dropped 2 straight. Another high implied game total at 48.5. We have been waiting for Ashton Genty to break out. Will the Bears' porous run defense be just what the doctor ordered for Genty to look like a guy whose ADP was first couple rounds and hasn't played the part so far?
It's been brutal. I mean, he also has no room to run, right? I mean, he's getting tackled in the backfield, I feel like, on every single tackle. He's not involved in the passing game either. That's the weirdest part to me. That's how many yards he has. He has 3 yards. Ashton Genty has 3 receiving yards this season. I mean, it's like,
Come on,
can't make it
guys.
up. I mean, it's ridiculous. He's got a 6% target share. All that said, George, one team in the NFL allows more rushing yards to running backs than your Chicago Bears. Right? They've been bad against it. They're giving up 5.3 yards per carry to opposing running backs. That's top 5 in the NFL. So I do believe in a game in which I would take the over here. It's 48.5. It opened at 47.5. It's been creeping up. I would still take the over. I think there's 2 pretty good offenses against 2 bad defenses. I think this is the week that Ashton Genty gets going.
Yep, no, I agree. And here's the thing is, if not now, then never.
When,
When-
right.
when- if you can't get going against this defense, then just when is it going to happen? I don't understand why the Raiders' offensive line, which is largely the same as last year when it was a totally fine unit, has completely fallen off the cliff. There's been coaching turnover, obviously. But yeah, this is put up or shut up time now for that offensive line, being able to block anything for Ashton Genty.
Got another question here from Dan K. FF pregame, the hashtag full PPR decision, Genty or DJ Moore? Feel very alley ankles like.
Oily ankles.
Oily ankles like.
Yeah, did you not? Don't you remember?
Yes, I do.
Thanks for paying attention to the show you
tried
host.
removing that from my memory, all the baby oil talk a week ago.
Yeah. The answer is Genty.
I'm with you,
I mean,
George.
it's wait, stop it, Lawrence.
I don't want to think about no baby oil either.
Yeah, that was actually a strange revelation last night that his nickname in high school was also Baby Oil Berry, which so it's strange
Baby
that
Oil
has
Berry.
followed
Exactly.
him for 40 years.
Yeah, it wasn't about my ankles though. I think it's Ashton Genty here, guys, and I don't think it's particularly close.
Agreed. It's the
DJ Moore makes me nervous. I mean, like, I think this is similar, if not now win, but
Yeah.
like this is clearly Rome Odunze's passing game.
Yep.
Yes, and I would go Genty. The one positive for DJ Moore, surprisingly, when the separation data came out for week 3, he was number 1. So he was getting open. It just
Caleb's just not looking for
it
it.
hasn't materialized yet. I'm with you. I do feel Odunze has emerged as the number 1 in that offense. Genty's the safer play.
Okay, you talk about the Bears' run defense. Ashton Genty gonna get the most touches. I gotta go Genty over DJ Moore.
And, of course, our final burning matchup, we got to go right here. The Packers on the road just suffered their first loss, that wild game against the Browns. So they're 2-1, but they are favored by a tutty over the Cowboys, who are 1-2. 47.5 the number for the over-under. CeeDee Lamb, I bet Cowboys fans everywhere were cringing. The running play early in that Bears game gets injured, couldn't come back, so he's out this week. Who is going to step up, Lawrence, in this Dallas passing attack?
Well, first off, it's obviously going to be George Pickens, right? We already kind of saw him get going when CeeDee Lamb was still there. As far as other receivers goes, that's going to be tough because you're talking about Jalen Tolbert, who's been with the team a few years, hasn't really popped off yet. You got Kevontae Turpin, who's kind of like their slot guy, gadget receiver. But Jake Ferguson, man, I think that's who's going to step up in this game to go along with George Pickens. We've seen Dak and Jake Ferguson have a connection in the past, and now with no CeeDee Lamb, I think he steps up in a major way and pays off that tight end 3 ranking that you have there, Matthew.
I mean, again, the Packers. We talked about him on the Love-Hate show, right? I mean, the Packers, for how good they are defensively, the tight end is an area that they struggle in. They're bottom 3 in terms of receptions and yards allowed to opposing tight ends. Njoku and Fannin last week combined actually were decent if you combine them as one person. 26 targets on the last 2 weeks, averaging 19 points a game for Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, I like the idea of combining those 2 men into one person.
I'm just, the point being, just as like the Browns
like
in a game in which
situation.
the Browns in a game in which they only scored 10 points. Like I'm just saying, like unlike the Browns where they sort of split their tight end work, it's all centered on Jake Ferguson for the Cowboys. So I think for the purposes of saying, hey, we like Jake Ferguson and I can combine them. Yes.
Yeah, he's so delicious. He's Fergalicious, and he's going to get absolutely peppered with
You're trying
targets.
to make that a thing, aren't you?
Why
the
not?
Fergler.
Yeah. Zero downside.
It's
a content idea. I'd like to see Matthew try and outrun one of these tractors down the field.
I'd like to see if they'll let me drive one.
That'd be like an Austin Powers situation.
Oh my God! Yeah, exactly. Can't. Going back.
That game, of course, on NBC, Peacock, 8:20, The Kick. Football Night in America gets things going at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We got to.
Real quickly though, I think it's
Should
interesting.
we get to our question from the regulars?
Yeah,
or you got a thought
sure,
that you
sure.
want?
Yeah. What do we got?
Okay. This from the 1-800 collect call. Flex Myers, Henderson, Pickens, half-point PPR.
Yeah, I think the answer is Jacoby Myers here. Again, we just talked about this Bears-Raiders game. Myers should get a big workload here. I'm nervous about, I agree with Lawrence that, of the wide receivers, if you're starting a Cowboys wide receiver tonight, obviously Pickens is the guy. And we hope that this is the Travion Henderson breakout game because everyone else on the team fumbles. but Jacoby Myers to me is the safe play. And honestly, I actually don't think it's all that close here. Like in terms of, obviously Henderson or Pickens could get deep for one or break one, in the case of Henderson. But Myers just has such a big floor in a game that we do think is a sneaky shootout.
Yeah.
On board with it. And we get a nice chirp here from Ben in the chat saying baby oil full commitment. So for you, it's been a lifestyle, apparently stretching back nearly 4 decades now.
Yeah,
It's
you'd
a
think
veteran.
you'd think I'd get invited to more parties.
Yeah, a veteran of the oil.
Yeah,
The oil game.
yeah, for sure.
It's an oil
I want to talk about Kevontae Turpin real quick. And Jalen Tolbert. So in week 3, Jalen Tolbert, 89% route participation. He's had last year in 2024. He had 5 different games with 12 or more fantasy points. In a game in which we think the Packers sort of have their way with Dallas, so maybe there's some junk time. If you're desperate, I think Tolbert and Turpin are both sort of interesting. I prefer Tolbert to Turpin, but I could see a scenario here where at least with Turpin, because their defense is so good, that they try to manufacture touches with Turpin. Like they try to do some gadgety stuff with him. And so I could see a scenario where if you a real long shot where they do some stuff with Turpin. It's worth noting that he has had back-to-back games with at least one end zone target. So they do try some, different stuff with him when they get in close.
I mean, he's a big play waiting to happen.
Right.
When it comes to that, he's their guy. And he returned kicks, too. So.
Right. That's one of the issues, though, is that because he plays special team, he's not going to play a full complement of snaps. But I could see them certainly, trying to do some gadgety stuff with him to make up for the loss of Lamb and try to throw off a very good Packers defense.
Makes sense. Another good one here from Valiant Vincent. Barry can't pull a hamstring if it's well oiled first. That's just science.
Yeah.
That actually made me laugh
Hey,
as I was listening
That's
middle of the
just
show.
science.
That was
I tell you
tremendous.
what.
I have a
The
joke.
regulars have
and
lifted
Only
lately.
because Steven, I don't want my producer Steven fired. I will not tell the joke that it just occurred to me.
Yeah, don't tell that joke, but it is very interesting that a lot of the regulars is coming in with these comments, and they all have to do with baby oil in your legs.
Yeah.
Whether it be your ankles,
Yep.
your thighs, or something, it got something to do with baby oil.
Yeah, he's a sick
So-
man, Matthew Berry.
Yeah, well,
That's what your career has come to,
There's
Matthew.
only one way to make him shiny, guys. That's the only way. Everyone knows I'm a
Regulars
leg
is
man.
on one.
Yes.
Like
There will
when
be
you
glisten.
when your legs look good, they're not looking at your head. You know what I mean? Like they don't notice my baldness.
What's over here
My
type move.
balding.
Oh, dear.
They're like, oh, look how shiny his legs are. How
Okay.
slippery smooth they are.
Let's go to the next segment.
Shot for shot. Good segue. Let's dive right into it. As you know, each and every week, if you follow the show here, Fantasy Football Pregame, these are the predictions that we feel the most confident in. We're going to go around the horn, each give you 3, bat and lead off. Our man, Matthew Berry.
We didn't do a good job with the props before the show.
We're on the road. It's
Yeah,
little ramshackle.
it's all different. All right. 100 total yards and at least one touchdown for my ride or die, Omarion Hampton. It was his coming out party last week. He keeps it going this week against the Giants, who have allowed the 4th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Omarion Hampton, at least 100 yards and at least one touchdown. Monster day coming for number 8.
Okay, my best friend, Puka Nacua. He will go for 100 yards today. There's no Kenny Moore, who's one of the best slot corners in the league. He's out. Mike Hilton coming in off the street. Tough first assignment against the best slot receiver in the game, Puka Nacua. His line is set at 90.5. He'll go over that. 100 yards, but the Rams will lose to the Indianapolis Colts, who go to 4-0 and take control of the AFC South.
All right. My first shot, man, I'm going to go Cris Olave. Goes over 72 receiving yards. Now, he has yet to go over 60 receiving yards this season, but he's getting 7.5 receptions on 12 targets per game, and Spencer Rattler is throwing it 39.5 times per game. Look, the Saints are 14.5-point underdogs, so it's going to be another throwing day for them old Saints. So Cris Olave, 72 receiving yards.
Always very specific for Lawrence Jackson. My first shot, Travion Henderson, only guy who didn't fumble in the Pats backfield last week. Ramondre, 2 fumbles. Antonio Gibson fumbled. He got the majority of the work late in the game after that. I'm not going his rushing prop. I'm going to go with his receiving prop. I don't think they've properly adjusted the line for what his workload's going to look like in week 4. It's 16.5. He's gone over this number every game so far. He's 3 for 3. I would even consider a ladder bet up to 30 yards or so. He has touched 30 once so far this season. I think it's going to be more of a Travion Henderson game. I think he's easily going to go over his receiving yardage prop for week 4.
I like that call, George. I like that call a lot. All right, my second shot. Justin Fields, welcome back. Justin Fields will be.
The hamster fall off the wheel?
No, I was
Maybe
going to make a joke about your Bears, and I was going to take a shot at you through Justin Fields, but then I decided,
Could have been fair.
Then your record scratched. Yeah.
something like that. Justin Fields. Justin Fields finishes as a top 10 fantasy quarterback. Welcome back. Monday Night Football, playing the Dolphins, who, by the way, no team in the NFL has given up more rushing touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks than the Miami Dolphins. Justin Fields, he's the guy. The Dolphins also give the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Overall, Justin Fields, top 10 fantasy quarterback this week in his return.
Okay. I will stay on Monday night, go to the other game, buying the dip on the Cincinnati Bengals, who just cannot be possibly as bad as they showed last week. So here's the thing. They closed 3-point dogs in Minnesota, and now they're 7.5-point dogs in Denver, who are a similar quality team to Minnesota, I think. I get that you have to downgrade the Bengals after whatever they showed that day, but that's too big of an adjustment. I think that Browning is better than he showed. Still Jamar Chase, still T. Higgins. I think that game will be decided by a touchdown or less.
All right.
The hook.
I did my toast earlier for Brock, a.k.a. Glock Purdy. I'm going to go 49ers. Minus 12.5 alt line versus the Jags. That's at plus 247 on DraftKings. Look, they lost Nick Bosa for the season, right?
Yep.
But this is why you drafted a Mikael Williams out of UGA. This is why you brought in a Bryce Huff. And although the Jaguars have the 8th best offense, that's against the Panthers. the Bengals with Jake Brown and the Houston Texans, and Trevor Lawrence completing 55% of his passes. I think the Niners at home getting everybody healthy back. I think they roll the Jaguars today. Toast to them.
There you go. The bet I've been tracking, I played this last week, is the Browns' rush defense. They're giving up 2.3 yards per carry. That's the lowest in the NFL by a half a yard. David Montgomery's rushing prop is at 46.5. Last week, I had Josh Jacobs in the under. He put up 30 rushing yards. His number was 78.5. There hasn't been a single starting running back this season who has gone over this number. I think in a timeshare with Jahmyr Gibbs, that David Montgomery's going to go under 46.5. Last year in 8 of 15 games, he was under this number as well. So book it with the Browns D. I think they're the real deal. We've seen it at least through 3 weeks.
I like that. In my last call, we talked about him a little bit earlier, but the Fergalicious, Jake Ferguson, finishes as a top 5 fantasy tight end today. 27% target share over the last 2 weeks. The Packers allowing over 70 yards per game to opposing tight ends. No CeeDee Lamb here in a game in which the Cowboys at home are touchdown underdogs. Yeah, Jake Ferguson, top 5 fantasy tight end this week.
Okay, the King Henry. Unfortunately, he's had his crown confiscated. He is not the king currently.
Yeah, he's no Keaton Mitchell.
Yeah, he keeps fumbling the crown. The crown is constantly on the ground these days.
It's not his.
It's the crown.
Yeah, it's a problem. King Henry is going under 84.5 rushing yards. Really tough matchup against the Chiefs. Chris Jones is single-handedly shutting down rushing attacks. Think back to what the Chargers weren't able to do in Week 1. Think about how inefficient Saquon Barkley was in Week 2. I think King Henry, he will not fumble today, but he will go under 84.5 rushing yards.
That's disappointing considering I have King Henry against George. I need Derrick Henry. One of the few guys that isn't injured. He just keeps fumbling. It's been a tough go. It's been a tough go for your boy here, the 2-time champ.
My last shot is going to happen right here on this field later tonight on NBC. Romeo Doubs gets 5 receptions. That's at plus 192. Look, Dallas allows the most fantasy points to wide receivers. They're tied for the 8th most in receptions to receivers. Romeo Doubs, who Jordan Love once said is a top 5 receiver in the league, has played the highest snap percentage of any of these Packers receivers. So I think he gets at least 5 catches today against a Dallas defense that just simply gives it up.
All right. I'm going to wind it down with Jackson Dart making his debut for the Giants. It was ugly watching last Sunday night with the Russell Wilson experience, especially that sequence when they got in the red zone and it was 3 straight incompletions thrown out of bounds, uncatchable, and a 3-yard quarterback draw up the middle. So Jackson Dart, maybe he'll breathe some life into this Giants offense. That's going to happen later in the season. Chargers rolling, Chargers balling out. They're going to cover -6 easily. I think the Chargers are going to get to 4-0. It's going to be a rough debut for Jackson Dart, who I think could be a viable QB2 later in the year if we're talking super flex double quarterback leagues.
I think he puts up good fantasy number. I agree with you. I think the Chargers win, but I think Jackson Dart, with his rushing and some junk time, I think Jackson Dart's actually a decent QB2 this week.
Is he an upgrade over Russ?
Yes. Yes. So's Lawrence.
Without even seeing him play.
Getting ready to
Jackson Dart.
sling it today in the Meadowlands. I remember asking you week 1, Lawrence, what was the over-under on Russ if he'd make it to week 6?
What was it? Week 6?
I said week 6.
Ooh, this early.
The under going to hit.
Yeah. Is he wearing like a jogging? What is that?
It's pronounced jogging, Matthew.
No, but yeah, what is he wearing?
We're going to
know what
have
that is.
inactives and injury updates when we return. We are back live on site at AT&T Stadium. Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts have arrived for today's undefeated matchup. The battle of the unbeatens. Both teams 3-0. I mentioned at the top of the show, we have 6 unbeatens in the NFL. That number will be slimmed down after today based on what transpires with the Bucs and the Eagles. The Bucs, the first team in I can't remember how many years to win 3 consecutive games on the final drive, 3 straight one-score wins. Baker Mayfield had been limited all week. He is good to go. You see all those players who are active for the early slate. And Matthew, as you anticipated, Bill will be suiting up. Tirico McMillan as well. Chris Godwin Jr. good to go. We got 10 names here. Christian Gonzalez for the Pats secondary, also active for their matchup with the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt. Just like in our game that we're playing, I have Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt, and I just took him out for Elike Manor. Tough matchup against Houston, but, the Falcons have a top 10 run defense. No Terry McLaurin, no Jaden Daniels. I'm just nervous. Kind of think your Falcons might win this one, Lawrence. I hope not, but I'm nervous about this. Anyway, so Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt just makes me nervous because I think it's going to be a 3-headed committee, on an offense that might struggle against Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Could this be a little bit of a panic move by Matthew at 0-3?
What you mean if he's going to bench him?
That's what I'm saying.
Should I start Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt
Is this going to be the week
over
JCM?
Elike Manor, who has scored in back-to-back games?
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'll go Alec Manor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I'm doing.
I'll remain
Grim
neutral.
state of affairs for Matthew Barry.
Yeah.
From Gilbert Trash, Flex Pearsall or Chuba Hubbard?
Yeah, the Chubbler. I'm going to go with the Chubbler. Again, especially with Juwan Jennings coming back, we just haven't seen this offense. And we know Christian McCaffrey's going to touch the ball a lot. I do think Jennings has a nice game here. I think the Chubbler against he just gets such a high workload. I'm going to go with the original Chubbler.
Yes, Chubby Magic for
Chubby
me as
Magic,
well.
yeah.
Yep.
I thought Nick Chubb was the Chubbler.
No, he's the
original Chubbler.
He's
Yeah.
the OG.
The original
He's the OG Chubb.
This is secondary
Chubby.
Chubbler.
Yeah.
Chubby Magic.
Yes. All right. Here we go.
Chase Hankin on the tube, one of the regulars. Hashtag FF pregame. Thank you for chiming in. PPR, pick one. Jameson Williams, Jerry Jeudy, or Trey Tucker, who had a monster game in garbage time, 145 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns for the Raiders in that blowout loss.
Yeah, Trey Tucker's kind of interesting, and we talked about him on Friday, Denny Carter, during flexual frustration.
Dr. Carter.
Dr. Carter, but I feel like Jameson Williams. Like I know I get the matchup with we talked about him. He's not getting a ton of usage, and it's a tough matchup against Cleveland. But I'm just like, are you chasing the points with Trey Tucker a little bit? I don't know. I think for me, it's probably Jameson Williams.
I would go with Jameson Williams too, and this is why. Lions are at home, baby. When Jameson Williams is at home, he's going 2 for 110 and a touchdown, baby.
Yep, Jameson Williams for me as well. When in doubt, go with the best player.
Especially with that matchup with the Lions being at home. All right, this is a long one. It's like size 4
Please
font.
help with my flexual frustration in my guillotine league. Guillotine should be capitalized, by the way. Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt, Wan'Dale Robinson, or Dalton Kincaid. Leaning Wan'Dale, but nervous with Dart against tough D. Also have neighbors, so bad game by both could get me cut. That's 100% true. Unlike other formats where you might want to stack players, when you're playing in a weekly elimination game like Guillotine League, you don't want to stack players because, to your point, if the Giants just are terrible today with Jackson Dart, then, having neighbors and Wan'Dale. I'm going to go Kincaid, who's, starting to get more looks, obviously. Yep. We expect the Bills. They're 16-point favorites over New Orleans today, so
just might have to get it early with Kincaid, and they've shown they could do that. Josh Allen in that offense, get their fantasy points and get out the game, start running the ball.
It was a Dalton Kincaid we were expecting to see last year, but he was dinged up the entire season. Hashtag FF ankles. Last flex spot, PPR pick one mate, JCM, Travis Hunter, Io Manor, or Golden. Ruben Garcia.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's, not a lot of great choices here. I'm going to go with Matthew Golden. Like we talked about, I think just the opportunity to potentially break out tonight, such a great matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. Went to Texas. He's back in the state of Texas. I'm sure he'll have a lot of family and friends and fans here. I'll say Matthew Golden.
Yep, I think that's the right answer. Matthew Golden's snaps went up, targets were healthier against Cleveland. Feels like he's trending in the right direction.
It seems like they want to make him, they're going to make a concerted effort to have him be a big part of this offense going forward this season.
Yeah.
Waiver ads, players available in more than 50% of leagues. And Jay, Woody Marks seems like he's trending to be a bigger part of the backfield, but hasn't been able to overtake the Chubler.
No, it's still the Chubbler's backfield for now, but in terms of upside, Woody Marks has much more upside than Nick Chubb, just more explosive. Chubb has been fine, but certainly scope for Woody Marks to emerge into a greater role.
Woody Marks played 49% of the snaps last week, only one fewer snap than Nick Chubb, and to your point, looks the more explosive part. We saw Ollie Gordon the other night as well. Maybe he falls into the end zone. It's worth noting that Rico Dowdle's role has increased every single week. He played 38% of the snaps last week, so maybe they're trying to get him more involved as well. Everyone that has Kyron Williams needs to have Blake Corum, whose touches have also increased every single week.
Talk about a blast from the past here. Sterling Shepard. Is he fantasy viable this week based on the injury situation with Mike Evans out, even with the return of Chris Godwin?
Yeah, potentially, but I'd rather Darnell Mooney, who had a 27% target share last week, or Christian Kirk, who played a lot of snaps. You heard me talk about Alec Manor, who Connor Rogers absolutely loves, who has scored in back-to-back weeks. Feels like he's the number one wide receiver in this Titans passing offense. Now that's not saying much, given the struggles that they've had so far, and you don't love the matchup this week against Houston. But I think Manor is somebody that will continue to grow and be a factor in fantasy leagues down the stretch.
So we work our way over to quarterbacks and tight ends. Marcus Mariota, 3-0 the last two seasons as a starter for the Commanders. Is that going to continue, Matthew?
I sure hope so. At least 19 fantasy points in all 3 games he's played for Cliff Kingsbury and the Commanders. I'm starting him against you today with Jordan Daniels out. We talked about Geno before as well. It's a top 13 QB against your Bears defense that's bottom 5 in both touchdown rate and yards per pass attempt. Again, don't know that you want to invest too much in the Tennessee passing attack. This is not somebody that I would love to use today if I didn't have to, but Chig Okonkwo, my guy Chig, has at least a 16% target share in every game so far this year. He's an athletic guy. I do think that passing offense will get better. And, of course, I'm always looking for some Brenton Strange out there, who's had at least 59 receiving yards in 2 of 3 games this year.
From Booty Man to looking for some Strange, Matthew Berry covers all his bases as we have our Week 4 desperation plays. Players available, deeper leagues, more than 80% of leagues. Matthew, kick us off.
Yeah, Rondé Gadsden, like me, a Syracuse graduate, not like me. He graduated much more recently than I did. But Gadsden, again, no Will Dissly at tight end for the Chargers. Gadsden was targeted on 47% of his routes last week. That was his season debut. He looks the part. He's a rookie that they're excited about there. Herbert has always liked his tight end, and again, I just think it'll be him and Conklin, and Gadsden just, I think, earned some trust from Herbert with how he played last week.
Yep, I'll take A.D. Mitchell. Alec Pierce is out. Mitchell is going to step into the X receiver role, deep threat. Now you're relying on one big play, but this is a desperation play, and there is scope for him to get loose for a big one against the Rams secondary that I don't think is too imposing.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Kevontae Turpin. Look, played a season-high 66% of the snaps last week in comparison to 15% and 46% in each of the first 2 games. And look, despite playing less snaps than Jalen Tolbert, he has outproduced him, and that's just a fact. So I look for Kevontae Turpin to make a big play today as well against that Green Bay D.
My guy, a fantasy football legend, DeAndre Hopkins, who's turned into the equivalent now of a guy you're just hoping falls in the end zone. He's had touchdowns 2 of 3 games with the Ravens. So if you're really desperate for a flex, he's extremely touchdown dependent, but a chance he gives you a 2 for 40 and a touchdown. So if you're scraping for someone, he's at least been a high leverage target when they get in the red zone for that Ravens offense so far. Now we have our next segment brought to you by DraftKings. Prop a shot. Normally we have our board in the friendly confines of our studios back at NBC Sports, but we got a question first from Jenna Moriello, Fantasy Besties. Hit the star for Prop a Shot. Who's going to tell you no?
No one.
Nobody
no one,
telling
Jenna.
us no.
We're going to do that. We're going to see who gets closest to the star, if any of us can. I'm standing up for this, though.
Should we have Matthew or Jay kick us off?
Jay will be the most embarrassing. So
Take-
I
Matthew,
would
you go
nominate
first.
Jay.
Matthew, you go first. Lead us off, Captain.
Oh my
Take-
God!
take
Why
your
am I?
mic.
Why am I
Uh-oh.
doing
Captain,
this?
my captain.
All right, hold on. Hold my mic, I guess. Or let me put it down.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Give me a little warm up in right here. Oh, hey. Oh.
Made it about halfway.
Nah, this ain't punt.
Made
This
it
ain't
about halfway.
This
You know,
ain't
where
punt
it lands,
return.
it's like golf. It's like where it's, you know.
Look at what George throwing from, and he's still
Yeah.
alive.
By the way, yeah.
All right, you go, Lawrence.
I threw from like I threw from here.
My man George,
George
got
was
on
like
the
all the
field.
way up there.
George, I gotta show off the hose.
Show off the hose. Spare me. Spare me,
Yeah.
Savaricas. Oh, wow, that's a good
Oh.
arm.
All right.
All right, well,
One hop on.
it was
I'd say Lawrence so far. All right, let's see it, Jay.
it was the Australian Rules Football Grand Final on
Ooh,
Saturday.
man, the
Congratulations
shoulder
to the
right
Brisbane
now.
Lions. In solidarity with them.
Jay was throwing knuckleballs earlier, so he's kicking it.
Pretty good.
Pretty
My
good.
man playing rugby out here.
Pretty good.
I mean, you know,
Good spiral.
it's outrageous.
All right.
Somebody.
I would say Lawrence is
No,
the
no,
winner there.
I'll take another W for actual athletic
Well, you know,
things that we do on this show.
Yep.
but if we're getting to go all the way to the sideline, I want another
Oh,
throw.
wow.
For the love of God.
From Tech, Barry throws like it hurts. OMG.
Oh my God. that throw was fine. What are you talking about? I mean, listen, everything hurts on some level.
Kudos. Yeah.
Everything hurts on some level.
That's why I need the baby oil.
Aloha bricks. Barry would have won if it was a tennis match.
I'll give you that.
Hey.
I will give you that.
Probably some truth to it.
I thought I had the cleanest spiral.
I think Lawrence had
Lawrence
the
And look,
clearly had the cleanest spiral.
I'll be honest about two things. That was a pretty damn good spiral I threw. However, I don't usually throw spirals like that, so
Okay.
it
You're a
happened at the
showman.
right time.
You're a showman.
Yeah, you know.
When the lights are the brightest.
Not a practice All-American, man.
Jay, we're going to start with you. Chris Olave, receiving yards, and he's been a target machine, a lot of receptions, but his receiving yardage prop at 57.5 for the Saints.
He'll go over. I'm aligned with the great Lawrence Jackson, who made the case earlier in the show. I think just as greater than 2 touchdown underdogs, they're going to be on a throw script constantly, and Chris Olave will get to 58 yards.
Browns 10-point dogs. Quinshon Judkins is going to have negative game script. His rushing yards prop, Lawrence, 55.5.
He's played well in his time so far, but I'm going to go under here. This number actually has went down 3 yards. The Lions held Derrick Henry to 50 yards. Josh Jacobs went over this, had 66, but it took him 19 carries to do it. So I'm going to go under for Quinshon Judkins here.
My guy, Caleb Williams, passing and rushing yards, 253 and a hook.
Yeah, I'm going over. He's been over this number in 2 or 3 games so far this year. Drake May and Justin Herbert both had 270 or more yards against Las Vegas. Again, Caleb looked good last week. Nothing in the Vegas defense makes me think they're going to stop him. Give me over 253 and a half passing and rushing yards combined for Caleb Williams today. Taking the over.
King Henry was already dethroned by Jay Croucher earlier in the show, so this is the biggest no-brainer response for his rushing yards prop, 84.5.
You'll be interested to know, George, if you combine King Henry's rushing totals for the past 2 weeks, you would not get to even 84. So I'm going to go under. I think that it's a tough matchup against Chris Jones and the Chiefs' run defense, as we spoke about earlier.
A.J. Brown receiving yards for the Eagles, 64.5.
Yeah, I'm going over right here. He caught 6 passes for 109 yards and a touchdown in 1 half last weekend. You talk about this game versus the Bucs. This is a team they've been having trouble with. Also, A.J. Brown was like, hey, we need to do more of that. And I think they do. A.J. Brown goes over this number today.
The man who was bestowed the best honor in all of sports preseason, Matthew Berry's ride or die, Omarion Hampton, rushing yards, 70.5.
Obviously, I'm taking the over here. Obviously, I'm taking the over. Giants are allowing 112 rushing yards per game and 5.2 yards per carry to opposing running backs this year. You just said you think the Chargers kill him. So positive game script should be there. Not a lot of competition for touches. I think he goes over 7.5, and I wouldn't mind doing a ladder bet there, 80, 90, 100, because I think Hampton has a big day against the Giants.
And I wouldn't mind diving into those alt lines for the Chargers, who are -6, maybe play that up to 10 or even 12.5. Jay, for Trevor Lawrence completions, we're waiting for this Jags offense to wake up and start firing on all cylinders. The completion number, 20.5.
Yes, T-Law. I'm going to take the over here, and it's a poor reflection on Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to do that. I think they're going to be in a throw script. I think they're going to be behind. I think the Niners are going to light them up. And Trevor Lawrence, I do think they'll be able to move the ball against the Niners defense with Nick Bosa out just being so catastrophic for San Francisco.
Lawrence, how about Indiana Jones and the Colts making that push to get to 4-0? Daniel Jones passing yards number 219.5.
I took his under last week on total. I'm not doing that again. I'm going over here. And this number, another one, this has gone up. He's hit this number in every game. Now, the Rams have only allowed this one time. But you look at a game where the over-under is 49.5. We expect some scoring on both sides. So Daniel Jones, Indiana, whatever state he going over.
Deebo Samuel, receptions. You think I thought you were getting up for a second. You were doing a little shimmy adjustment there. So I was just checking on you.
I'm okay.
If things hurt, if you're good to go.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
We've
He's not
downgraded
fine,
Matthew Berry to questionable for the first hour after pregame.
Ask me a question.
Deebo Samuel, receptions, 4.5 for the Commander's office.
Yeah, I'm taking the under here. Atlanta's only allowed one wide receiver to catch 5 or more passes. That was Mike Evans in week 1. Last week with Marcus Mariota, just a 17% target share last week. I think they try to run the ball here. 5's a big number. I think he probably gets a big play here, but I'm going to take the under on 4.5 receptions for Deebo Samuel. They'll mix it up. Luke McCaffrey, Chris Moore, on and on. Zach Ertz. I think Zach Ertz has a big game.
We got 3 more all props that you can play on DraftKings for Sunday Night Football tonight. Packers at Cowboys. We'll kick it off with the Green Bay Packers. Tucker Kraft receiving yards, and he's been a breakout fantasy star early in this season. Jay, 44.5.
Yep, Tuck Daddy, Tuck Wagon, PJ Tucker, Trey's brother. I'm going over on 44.5. I think that last week against the Browns was just a bit of an outlier in a really difficult matchup. I think Tucker Kraft is more the guy that he showed against Matthews Commanders with that epic Thursday night performance a couple of weeks ago.
Lawrence, any running lanes against the Packers D for Javonte Williams, rushing yards, 50.5?
Nah, I'm going to go under right here. Even though Javonte Williams has exceeded all expectations, he's went over this every game, but Green Bay Packers, top 3 run defense, so I'm going to go under on Javonte Williams at 50.5 rushing yards.
And bring us home, Matthew. Finally, Dak Prescott, passing yards, 235.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go under. Green Bay is not allowed a quarterback to throw for more than 225 yards this season, and it feels weird that Dak might get there without CeeDee Lamb. Give me the under 235.5 passing yards for Dak Prescott. Banged up offensive line. I think there's a chance he's running for his life. Remember last week when they were down by 17, they just benched him in the fourth quarter. So I think there's a chance you could see Dak not finish the game if the game gets out of hand.
They were waving the white flag kind of early.
Yes, they were.
Teeing up Joe Milton with 7 or 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly. $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV. Just download the Sportsbook app. Use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook.
The crown is yours, baby.
Per Schefter, Barry out next 4 shows with a rotator cuff. LOL.
Joke's on you. I don't actually have a rotator cuff.
LOL. Barry arm is killing him. He was about to walk off the show. LOL.
Come on camera. No, come on camera. I'm throwing another one.
Yeah.
They trying you, dog.
There we go. Here we go.
Oh, no. Troubling.
Oh, he gonna go on the field. Uh-oh.
Oh, that was okay.
It's still a minute about 20 yards.
That'd have got you second in the first wave of throws.
Feebly rolls
Landed
to the
in the star once it got there.
Once it rolled there.
Yeah, once it rolled. Yeah. Again, we're playing golf rules.
This isn't pump, pass, and kick.
Yeah, see, look at that. It's on the edge.
Sickening stuff.
Mike called you a mentor. He also said it's going to be painful sacking you. I don't know if he meant for him or for you.
I hope it's not for me, and I hope he doesn't get to me for one. So
But just talk about plays that Mike and y'all really.
yeah, it'll be fun. It'll definitely be fun. The reps of practice going against Micah, in times when he couldn't hit me, whether him getting back there, just the trash talk back and forth, me telling him, he wouldn't tackle me anyways, you still can't bring me down, you got to get to that point. So just getting to go out there and compete with a guy that's a good friend that that I've competed with in numbers of ways throughout this building, outside of this building. Yeah, just excited to go and have that matchup. But he's got 5 guys up front plus tight ends and running backs that he's got to get through. So then we'll worry about if he can get to me.
You got to think Micah Parsons can get home at least one. Everyone thought it was going to be Barry. For me, of course, I'm the one who leaves the mic down for once. So there you go. Micah Parsons heads back to Dallas to face the team that traded him away. Packers, Cowboys, Sunday Night Football, rivalry renewed. That's tonight, 7 Eastern on NBC and Peacock. As we kick off hour number 2 here on field, on site at AT&T Stadium. Did we go to break to get Barry oxygen, an IV, and a sling? Ice bath them ankles.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. No, listen. We didn't get him a sling. We didn't get me a sling or an IV, but certainly copious amounts of beverage. So, anyway, yes.
What's wrong with you today?
What do you mean, what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with me today. By the way,
He's 0-3. It's a glass case of emotion.
This desk is meant for 3 people. And so my knee keeps banging up against it. There's no place to put my knees.
Did that affect your throw?
It did.
Yeah.
It did, because I couldn't get loose. Now I'm in a confined area.
It affected my throat too, Matthew.
Thank you.
I actually got the same problem over here on this
Thank you,
side,
Lawrence.
so
I appreciate your support.
Understand.
I appreciate your. By the way, NFL Network reporting that Devontae Adams should play. Hamstring shouldn't be an issue. So that just came out.
Just to tease the people, at the end of the show, there may be a 40-yard dash competition between the 4 of us: George Savaricas, Matthew Barrett, Jay Croucher, Lawrence Jackson.
Yeah, we decided it was Jay and
No. You'll be running, Matthew.
It's all 4.
And let me tell you.
Why I got to do this?
If Rich Eisen does it every year at the Combine, you can do it once here at Jerry World.
Let me tell you, if Devontae Adams' hamstring is fine, I'm not sure yours is going to be fine, Matthew.
He looking at it now. You're like, damn, that looks long.
It looks long. 40 yards looks long.
11 seconds later, it ain't going to be that bad.
It'll be there in a jiffy.
I've said that to my wife before, for sure.
I know. Noon blues. Some people just waking up, emerging from their day. Maybe they had Jaylen Warren in the lineup, didn't realize he was going to be active. So what is causing you to drink week 4, Matthew?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence in the Jaguars passing game. T-Law, the Traveler. It's been brutal. Brian Thomas, I don't know what – Brian Thomas, can wide receivers get the yips? Because I feel like he has them. Travis Hunter, he's on offense. Now he's on defense. They don't know what to do with him. Trevor Lawrence looks bad. He's 24th in yards per pass attempt. He's 29th in passer rating. I don't know that it gets a lot better on the road at San Francisco today, even without Bosa. I'm nervous, man. I am nervous, right? Come here. Here we go. There we go. Hall of Fame.
Go on, Rodney. What up?
There we go. The great Rodney Harrison. So anyway, I'm nervous about that's what's driving me to drink right there. Yeah. So, but Rodney, one of the all-time great guys.
Yes, and another guy who would beat us all on a 40-yard dash, certainly. Michael Penix.
Yeah, he's not invited to the 40-yard dash.
Michael Penix is causing me to drink. Michael Penix was the worst quarterback in football last week against the Carolina Panthers. He got shut out by Carolina. It's a big deal. It's a big problem. Yeah. This offense has not looked right all season in the passing game. He's not throwing it deep. And look, the Falcons have made changes on their staff. This is a big day. They need to win this game, Matthew, or else their season is trending towards done. So big day for Michael Penix. Very concerned about the state of that passing game.
I hope he stinks again. I hope my Commanders go to 3-1. I'm nervous that they won't.
No, Matthew, it's not going to happen. But speaking of another team that needs to win today, the Ravens, and what's been driving me to drink is Derrick Henry, man.
The former king.
Lost fumbles every single week this season. No more than 50 rushing yards in his last 2 games. Now, Derrick Henry, I know you ain't going to fumble today, dog, but these last 2 games, man, and now you got the Kansas City Chiefs. It only gets tougher in this must-win game, so that's kind of what's getting me, fellas.
Yeah, that fumble cost the Ravens a win against the Lions and cost me a win against Denny.
Yes.
Very similar.
It's hard to know which one is more important. to
Yeah,
the
it
course
really
of the
is.
NFL season.
Maybe we should put up a poll. Yeah.
What's driving me to drink, and more just in solidarity and sympathy, your high school buddies, we had some Cowboys fans, and they were saying just sad state of affairs here in Dallas. 1-2, you trade away your best defensive player, your best offensive player. CeeDee Lamb is out. Not necessarily driving me to drink. I almost just want to pour a little out for Cowboys fans everywhere.
homies.
Feel bad for them because you got the Packers coming to town. If they don't win tonight, you're 1-3 the first 4 weeks. Then it's got a 6-11 type season written all over it. So to Cowboys fans everywhere, I feel your pain. That is driving me to drink with you to try and just mask what has been a rough start to the 2025 NFL season.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, to our quarterback rankings, and a guy who has cracked the top 10, and he's been a very exciting fantasy player so far through 3 weeks. Caleb Williams is a juicy matchup. He's fourth at the Las Vegas Raiders.
Raiders top 5 in the NFL in terms of most receptions allowed on deep passes. Caleb Williams third in deep ball rate this season. So, yes, I think he's going to throw often, and I think he's going to throw deep, and I think he's going to be successful. I'm as a top 4 quarterback this week.
And Jordan Love, another player who's cracked the top 10 for the Packers.
Yeah, and he should be going against this Dallas Cowboys defense. I know the Green Bay Packers want to run the ball, but you can't watch what Caleb Williams did last week and say, we don't want to attack these DBs like this tractor trailer finna attack me. Jordan Love only quarterback 18 in fantasy points per game so far this season. Has played better regular football than fantasy, but I think those numbers get a boost today here in Dallas.
Hey, what other pregame can you see the field 9 hours before kickoff? So
Right.
this is how the sausage
This is how
is
it
made
is, and, like,
behind us.
I don't know if you can see, but there's like a ton of people in the stands putting, like, I guess they're giving away towels today. Like, terrible
towels on
towel-
the seats.
Yeah, but they're putting towels on the seats, for all the fans. So it's like, and there's a ton of people here. So
I thought it was
a
just
lot of work going into Jerry World tonight.
help wipe up your tears when you fall to 0-4. Have one of the Cowboys
I might need
towels.
them. I might need one. Should I sneak up into the stands and steal one? There's going to be somebody that comes to the seat and be like, the hell,
tear
why did
towel.
you got a towel? You got a towel. Where's mine?
Or it could be for Cowboys fans as well. 1-2, and we'll see
think
what
they're gonna need
happens.
it. We'll see.
Tonight on Sunday Night
a
Football.
lot at stake for the Cowboys and for me.
Big time.
Yeah.
11 through 20, and for
I might also fire Brian Schottenheimer. I can't get there.
Geno Smith, very deceiving if you just look at his stats last week against the Commanders, because it was a great fantasy week.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great week for his team.
Yeah, Geno's been up and down NFL-wise, but I do think this week, if nothing else for fantasy, he's going to be successful. You see it right there on your screen. I have him at QB 13. He's averaging 35 pass attempts a game. That's 8th most in the NFL. They're throwing a lot, much to the chagrin of people that have Ashton Gente on their roster. But your Bears, George, bottom 5 in both touchdown rate and yards per pass attempt allowed that we've talked about. You can throw on the Bears. No Jalen Johnson, of course, again, for Chicago's secondary. And we expect, you heard me, I expect Caleb Williams to be able to throw. So I think game script here, it's 48.5. I'd take the over. I like Geno as a high-end QB2 this week.
Let's switch it over now to our running back ranks. The big dogs, 1 through 10, as we're taking a look at the top of the list. Christian McCaffrey, number 1 with the Jacksonville Jaguars coming to town. He's had more than 75 touches through 3 weeks. So it's been a high-usage start for CMC. We were wondering preseason what his health would be like getting into the start of the year. They've been leaning on him heavy. He has been the bell cow. As we drop it down to 11 through 20. And beginning of the season, a lot of steam around R.J. Harvey, but it has been J.K. Dobbins emerging as the main back for the Broncos.
There was no steam coming from me. I was anti-R.J. Harvey because you saw it in the preseason. Like, he's not good at pass blocking, and you can't get on the field in a Sean Payton offense if you can't pass block. But J.K. Dobbins can, and he continued to look good. 85% running back rush share last week. He had a 55% route participation in week 3, which is kind of surprising. Then you think about this matchup with the Cincinnati Bengals. 125 rushing yards to running backs. That's what the Bengals have allowed in back-to-back games. Travis Etienne, Jordan Mason, both averaged over 5 yards per carry against Cincinnati. And so J.K. Dobbins, I'm as a top 15 play this week. I think he's a strong high-end RB2.
Hashtag FF pregame help pick 2 PPR, Chase Brown, Sutton, Dobbins, Devonta Smith.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I'm going to say Chase
backs.
Brown and Dobbins.
Yeah,
honestly, I think Chase Brown gets off the schneid. Denver, I mean, like Amarian Hampton last week against Denver got off the schneid. You can run on the Broncos, and to your point, Jay, about like people are overreacting.
Yeah.
I get it. It was ugly against Minnesota last week, but Chase Brown's too good, and he's getting too much work in what is not a terrible matchup in terms of running on Denver. I think Chase Brown and Dobbins is what I would do in that game, this case.
Agreed.
Yeah, same.
Let's get to 21 through 30. Quinshon Judkins has quickly made himself the focal point of the Browns' rushing attack. He cracks the top 30 for our Week 4 rankings here. What do you think of the Lions' run defense and the matchup that he has for Week 4?
Yeah, I mean, you don't love it against the Lions. They're a top 12 run defense so far in the season. Held Derrick Henry, obviously, last week as well. But Judkins, who performed well against the Packers last week. And shout out to Connor Rogers, our co-host on Fantasy Football Happy Hour every single day. When Judkins was unsigned, Connor was very much banging the drum. He's the best running back on this team. Once he get in there, he will be their starting running back ASAP. And that's exactly what's happened. Shout out to Connor. Quinshon Judkins, in his 2 games so far this year, he's averaging 5.5 yards per carry. He's gotten 72% of the Browns' running back rush attempts since being activated. So, yeah, I have Judkins as running back 23, so kind of a high-end flex with a decent shot at a score.
Shout out to me as well for drafting Quinshon Judkins in the League of A-Holes. He's just been sitting on my bench, just
you don't need him.
a luxury item. You have to come in and wreak havoc on the world.
Exactly. That's you're like a king, and then there's steak sitting there that you don't even need to bother because you're sitting there being fed grapes while I'm sitting here oh, is that half a saltine cracker?
Scrapping.
Yeah.
Malachi Manor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, well, I had to go to the waiver wire to see that Kenneth Gainwell was not available in our league. That's where I'm at. That's how sad I am.
Dare to
I'm
dream.
down bad.
Yep.
I'm down bad.
Nils Martin on YouTube, half-point PPR guillotine. Pick one, Bill Judkins, Jennings, the Riddler, Calvin Ridley.
So I'm going to go, again, when you're playing guillotine leagues, guillotineleagues.com, by the way, you can still sign up for a free draft. We draft every single week. I want floor, not upside. And just Judkins, even though I talked him up, I'm going Juwan Jennings. He's always gotten a big target share whenever he's out there. I feel better about the fact that Brock Purdy's out there. There's a connection between him and Jennings. I like the matchup against Jacksonville, so I'm going to say Juwan Jennings.
Okay. I'd go Judkins, but I think it's close between those two.
Fair enough. the Detroit thing on the road at Detroit, I don't know. It makes – I guess my point is when you're thinking in a guillotine league and you're thinking okay, what could go wrong that would just get me cut?
Yeah.
I just if you tell me one of these players has 3 points today, I think there's more likely chance that it's Judkins than it's Jennings.
Yeah.
That would be my argument.
A lot's going to depend. He's going to need to get more pass game usage, Judkins. So it's half-point PPR as well, which is another in direction of the running back. So, but yeah, I think it's close.
Yeah. You could just see a 12-carry, 35-yard day for Judkins. Yeah.
Where you break the tie. He says Judkins, I say Jennings.
Well, I took Judkins under 50-something rushing yards, so I'm going Jennings.
There you go. Okay. All right. Lawrence and I are right. Jay's wrong. There we go. We can move on now.
Lawrence, as we're plowing through these running back ranks, give me your spin on DeAndre Swift, where he stands in this Bears rushing attack as they're on the road at Las Vegas.
Well, I'll tell you exactly where he stands, George. He's handled 76% of the Bears running back touches this season. So no matter what you think about him, what you feel about him, it matters what the Bears think, and he's touching the rock. There's only been one other running back to handle carries or catch the ball. That's been Kyle Monungai. Now, the Raiders they allow the top 10 fewest fantasy points to running backs, but when you talk about a game that has an over-under of 48, DeAndre Swift has become you need a touchdown for it to pay off kind of guy at this point.
Dustin S. on YouTube, full point PPR, Danny Dimes or Fields for QB, and need to flex BTJ, Swift, Golden, Tucker.
Good question. All
Fields at quarterback.
Fields at quarterback. I haven't, again, we love Danny Dimes here, but Rams are a much tougher defense than the Dolphins, so I prefer Fields at quarterback. In terms of the flex, boy, I get the question, but I can't bench as bad as Brian Thomas Jr. has been. I'm not benching him for Trey Tucker or Matthew Golden. Tucker had the one monster game in junk. I'm going with BTJ and Swift.
Yep, likewise.
Yeah.
BTJ and Swift, the safest play there for sure.
Definitely.
But so Fields, you're just chalking it up total aberration, the Week 2 performance where he was 3 of 11 for 25 yards passing midway through the fourth before he got dinged up. He looked great Week 1.
Bills and Dolphins. Big difference in them teams is pretty much. I at least think that's why you would go there.
Correct. Yes. I understand the question. The Rams have a very good defensive line. This game is in L.A. So far this season, they have the 6th best pass defense in the NFL, and that's even including the Eagles' furious comeback last week. I just think Fields with a floor. Again, you heard me talk earlier in the show, but the Dolphins give up the most rushing touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks. They've given up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks, and so I just think, Justin Fields. I just think because of the rushing, just has a floor that. I only have them separated by like 3.3 spots in the rankings, but
close.
Justin asked me. I'm saying Justin Fields.
Yeah. How about the wide receiver ranks for Week 4? And this will be what Matthew has, 1 through 30, 1 through 10. Puka Nacua averaging more than 110 yards receiving per game on the season. He's looking like a potential wide receiver #1 candidate if he stays healthy with what his usage and target share has been for the Rams offense. Let's kick it down to 11 through 20, Cris Olave. Matthew, we're waiting for Ratty Ice to get Olave into the end zone through 3 weeks.
But he's trying. Olave's had at least 1 end zone target in every game so far this season. No player in the NFL has more targets this year than Cris Olave. He's got a 32% target share. New Orleans is a 2-touchdown underdog on the road at Buffalo. They're going to have to throw, and when they're throwing to Cris Olave. I'm at wide receiver 13. Lawrence, you talked about him in shot for shot as well. I know you like him today as well.
Yeah, definitely. Just the matchup, they're gonna be behind. If there's any other scenario, then we're shocked. But Cris Olave, and he's getting the double-digit targets every game. It just makes sense.
Next wide receiver, T-Mac and the Panthers, Jay, flying high after that 30-0 dismantling of the Atlanta Falcons. Will they continue the momentum going into Week 4?
Probably not, but I do think T-Mac will be fine. His receiving prop is set at 65.5, which is 4 yards less than Malik Neighbors and 3 yards higher than Ladd McConkey. Like, he's just a target share monster. I think they're going to have to throw the ball. I think you can throw in New England as well. So, T-Mac, I think has become a little bit underrated in the context of the rookies this year.
You mentioned the name Ladd McConkey. As we get to 21 through 30, is Ladd McConkey the third banana for the Chargers with Keenan Allen? The ghost of Keenan Allen coming back, and QJ has been a touchdown machine.
Both have looked great so far this season, but McConkey is too talented for him to just disappear. Look, he's had under 10 fantasy points now in back-to-back games. Single-digit fantasy points, 2 straight games. He's never done that in 3 straight games. So I don't think he starts today against a Giants defense that allows the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. By the way, they also give up the most receptions and the most yards per game to the slot. I think this is a Ladd McConkey gets off the schneid game in a big way. I'm at wide receiver 23.
Joseph Cook question at Jerry World. Need a flex, Javonte or Ladd, 10-team non-PPR. Thanks, gents. Drink up.
Cheers
have
to
been,
you, Joseph. Here's
Cook.
to you.
Yes,
Cheers
sir.
to you. And
Yes,
the answer here is Ladd McConkey. Again, Javonte Williams, whose prop on DraftKings is like 40-something. Like
it's not great.
Yeah.
It has went down.
Yeah. As it even people are betting it down against the Packers. I get that. So yeah, Ladd McConkey for me.
Agreed.
Turn it on over, Lawrence, to Deebo Samuel, who Matthew's bullish on just based on Terry McLaurin being out. You figure a lot of the.
But I took under 4.5 receptions.
Fair.
You took under 4.5 receptions, and this is interesting because if Jaden Daniels was the quarterback, I would actually feel like Deebo would go out right now and get 7 catches in the game because that's what he did with Jaden Daniels in the first 2 games. And what's interesting here is the Falcons are a top 10 run defense right now. But with Marcus Mariota at quarterback and his running ability, I could see that 4.5 going under. But I also could see Deebo, just them trying to get him the ball. They didn't have to do much last week against the Raiders. They didn't have to throw much, rather, against the Raiders. They got ahead there. So Deebo, I would like Deebo to get in the end zone this week, to be honest.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Well, with no Terry McLaurin and Mariota under center, Noah Brown banged up as well. I think they'll try to use some gadget stuff to try to get Deebo get the ball in his hands more often today, for sure.
Tight end rankings, and we got a Cowboy clocking in among the top 10. And a lot of it was just the monster target share and reception game that he put up last week against the Bears. Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
Makes the top
Fergler.
three.
Fergalicious. He had 22 receptions on 22 targets for the last 2 weeks. He's averaging 19 fantasy points per game. We've talked about this all show. Packers are bottom 3 in the NFL in both receptions and yards allowed to opposing tight ends. No CeeDee Lamb in a game in which they're touchdown underdogs. Dak Prescott's going to throw, and when he throws, he's likely going to throw to Jake Ferguson, who should find more room than George Pickens, who's going to have his hands full. So, yeah, I have him as a tight end 3 this week.
Jay, shine a light on your childhood hero, Tucker Kraft.
My best friend, Tucker Kraft. Yeah, like last week was disappointing. Only 3 catches for 29 yards on 4 targets. But I do think that he showed so much in week 2. I think he's carrying the injury last week that had him questionable for the game. I think with an extra week of health through that knee healing, that he'll be back. Not to what he was in week 2, because that was, he's not going to have 120-plus yards every game. But I do think that he is going to be a locked-in top 3, top 4 tight end each week going forward.
Just outside the top 10, we got a question here. Dobbs or Kraft?
Kraft.
That's
Yeah.
Kraft.
The Tuck
Kraft,
Daddy.
baby.
Yeah.
The
PJ
Tucker.
From our pal Zilla, one of the regulars.
Yeah. Zilla did not make the power rankings, though. In others receiving votes. Zilla was in others receiving votes.
That's the beauty of the power rankings is the committee votes again.
Yeah.
Each
A
week.
6-hour
There's always
meeting, I
vote.
heard,
Yeah.
that you guys had.
Zilla, I fought for you.
Yes.
These two
Yeah.
hate you.
Is this old school where we're going to have multiple polls, like an AP poll and
Yeah. UPI poll.
a UPI poll, and there could be
USA
conflicting
Today, conflicting
rankings,
Yeah,
and then the
for
BCS comes together at the end of the season.
Yeah, we should do that. We should.
A guy who didn't crack the top 10, but has had a good start, especially against expectations that we had the last couple of years. Dalton Kincaid, just outside Matthew, at number 11, facing the Saints at home.
Yeah, back-to-back games with at least a 22% target share. Looks healthy. Looks like he's a bigger part of this offense, and we expect the Buffalo Bills to roll. So Dalton Kincaid, who's had an end zone target in every game so far this year, should have another one against the Saints. As you said, I have him as a top 12 play today. Dom Tibbetts texting out. Speaking of tight ends that could have a big day, here's Dalton Kincaid, hashtag Bills Mafia.
Dalton Kincaid, and what should be a game where, that's far and away the biggest spread that we have for week number 4. 2.5, two touchdowns plus for the Bills.
Yeah, not a lot of respect for my man, Ratty Ice. I feel like it didn't get enough pub that Dalton Kincaid once came on our show and talked about how a kangaroo punched him in the face in Australia.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's actually like quite a strange, amazing story.
Yeah.
And we should promote that more.
I think we should. It was
He
when
got
you
punched
bonded
in the face
with.
by a kangaroo in Australia.
know.
It's bizarre.
It happened to you and him. You're
Yes.
the only 2 people I know of
Yes.
that happened to.
Yeah.
No, but Dalton Kincaid, it actually did happen to. He got punched by a kangaroo.
Yeah. He got into a fight and lost.
Yeah.
With a kangaroo.
This is
Sometimes
why
you win some, you lose
He
some.
can beat zone coverage in the NFL, but he cannot defeat a kangaroo in Australia. No.
You ever fought a kangaroo?
No, they're actually terrifying. They're not like fun creatures. No,
I
they're
wouldn't
dangerous
imagine
beasts.
so.
Yeah. It's basically like Kangaroo Jack. That's what they like. They have boxing gloves.
Yeah,
and
of
stuff.
course.
Yeah, like punch people.
Kangaroo Jack is a documentary.
Is that something that is surprising? I don't think people would see a kangaroo and be like, oh, let me go pet it.
Yeah, it looks all cute in cartoons.
Yeah, in cartoons they do.
Yeah, cartoons. Yeah, if I see one in real life, I'm going the other way.
You had told us this script for Croc 4 last year with Jay and his return to Australia. Would kangaroos be a big plot element?
1,000%. Jay's children will ride to school in a kangaroo pouch.
Yes.
Little Rio.
Yep.
Just in the pouch.
Yeah.
For sure.
So regulars have been wondering, are we going to do Flip Cup on the Star? Well, we're not going to do TO. We got IR regular. Do they play Flip Cup with bigger cups in Texas
They
in the Big
should.
D as we make our way on over? And
What are we doing here? Okay.
Matthew, every week
I
you
didn't
blame
pay
me for having too much liquid into your
that's a
cup.
good
So
point.
why don't we let you fill your own cup up for week 4, and that way you can't blame anyone else for how much water you have in your cup for Flip Cup.
Good point.
Okay.
That's the point. Look at this. All right.
What a scene.
Pull me up.
This is the real show in Dallas today. Sunday Night Football can wait for Flip
There
Cup
we go.
on the
All
side.
right, there we go.
The best was Matthew's attempt at a redemptive arc
it's
last
And
week.
then I spilled it everywhere yesterday. All right.
As he
pretty
made us
tight
play
here.
a second
All right.
game of Flip Cup that he also
All right,
lost.
I'm going to put my mic down and get ready for this.
Nobody.
Oh, are we putting our mics down?
I'm holding
Well,
mine.
I'll hold
Yeah,
it.
I'm holding it.
All right.
All right, ready? Cheers. Cheers, down, up. Bam! Once again, domination.
I beat you. Go back to the replay. This is sad. Jay finally got it.
What will be
Well said.
longer, Barry's 40 time, or how long it took for Lawrence to
I
flip his
get to
cup?
Dallas and I choke.
All right, well, we'll
Fine.
say you won since you go from worst to first.
Yeah.
So you want to kick off our touchdown parlay?
Yeah. I just don't remember what.
How about I
swear
go
to
grab
God.
the script as a stall
I
tactic
think
for you?
I picked Christian McCaffrey. I'm almost positive I picked Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey.
Christian
When
McCaffrey.
in doubt, just take a good running back.
Yeah,
no,
just
yeah.
take the guy you got number
Chris-
one in your
yeah.
running back ranks.
Exactly.
I didn't know
Christian
I needed the cheat
McCaffrey
sheet for
at home. Big favorites against
Grandpa
Jacksonville. Looks
Barry.
healthy. The offense will be better with Brock Purdy. CMC gets in the end zone today.
Yeah.
George?
Okay. Ashton Genty. I think he's due. It's bound to happen, and if it
factor.
is, it's going to happen against the Bears.
Yep. I'll take Josh Jacobs, who'll be here, running into perhaps that end zone right there. I think that his rushing attempts probably set at 19.5. Packers 7-point favorites. Think he gets in the end zone once.
I'm gonna go Tony Pollard for 1 is plus money. 2, the Texans and the Titans are both 1 and 2 in allowing rushing touchdowns to running backs. So am I gonna pick Nick Chubb or I'm gonna pick Tony Pollard? So I'm gonna pick Tony Pollard. There you go.
Yeah, he's better.
There you go. And make sure to tail us if you want on DraftKings. We are due to hit our touchdown parlay. I think this is the week. Barry is a Flip Cup tramp stamp for a reason
That's
from
exactly
Cujo.
right, Cujo.
Now, see-
that's honestly that is where the baby oil started, because when I got the tramp stamp,
There you go.
have to use the baby oil on the back to because it stings there when you get that tattoo for the first time. So that's where my baby oil addiction started. Was in that tattoo parlor.
I didn't know
It's dark.
Dallas would be the end of our careers, but I think week
It
4,
ends
the show is
today.
going to come to the close. Oh,
There you go.
There you
Oh
go.
my
Hey,
goodness.
This is me.
Hey,
This is me
man.
at like 6. I'm like 6 years old in this picture. Like
Unbelievable.
why my parents would let me go out looking like that, but that's, yeah. I mean,
It's like a young Michael Jackson.
dude, look how. I mean, like seriously,
A, B,
like.
C. 1, 2, 3.
That's ludicrous.
Matthew,
Yeah, I need a drink after seeing that photo. Yeah,
Matthew
it was
was
like that all through school. You know,
a high school DJ also.
I was Matthew Rock and Roll Barry, KTAM 1240, rock and roll oldies.
What was the comment
Classic
from
rock.
your one buddy, high school buddy's mom? Who was like, "Was that
Oh, well, now, yeah. John Pointevent's mom is just, every time she sees me on TV, she says to John, she's like, I can't believe that nerdy Jewish kid is on TV. So she's, old school Texas.
who has a name?
Mom.
Who has a show named after him? Not just on TV, but
Yeah, I mean, Right. Anyway, so yes, John Pointeman's mom apparently never liked me all throughout. She's probably in her 80s.
Is that Barry or Bob Ross?
It's a good question, Aloha Bricks. It's a very good question. I might have been Bob Ross's illegitimate son. I mean, who knows? I just don't know. I have to ask my mom who she dated.
I could only imagine how lucky the ladies were in high school.
Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I don't think people understand. What I've overcome. They should do a 30 for 30 on me. What I've managed to overcome, that hair, my upbringing.
It's a true rags to riches story.
It really is.
It's like Jay-Z and Matthew Berry.
Yeah, you have no idea. Yeah, I'm like Josh Jacobs too. Josh Jacobs had a similar.
Yeah.
Just a
Many
man
people
with,
are saying.
just a man with hair, and then
And then poof.
Yeah, it's
very upsetting.
We're going to go.
I agree. 30 for 30. Matthew Berry coming up, folks.
Yeah.
Beer
Be on the
goggles
lookout.
to pick up lines.
Just imagine that picture you saw 10 years older, but with the same hair, trying to talk girls into going out on dates in high school. I'm just telling you, you guys don't understand what I've overcome.
That's why you started playing fantasy football.
Yes,
instead.
yes, to get the chicks.
Yeah.
That'll do
Beer
it.
goggles time. Scale of 1 to 5. What would it take for you to start these players? First game, Carolina at New England. Matthew, Hunter Henry had a massive week.
Yeah, 0 beers. I can be stone cold sober. I'll throw him right into my lineup. I have him as a top 5 tight end this week. Henry has seen 42% of the Patriots' end zone targets and red zone targets when they get in close. Drake May looks for Hunter Henry. No team has allowed more yards to tight ends this year than the Carolina Panthers.
He is fantasy football tight end number 1 through 3 weeks for the Patriots.
2 first names, always a crowd pleaser.
Ramondre Stevenson, after the fumbleitis week 3, how many beers, Jay?
3 beers for Ramondre. I think the bottom could fall out here, but what he has working in his favor, Patriots 5.5-point favorites against the Panthers, who have, I think, a pretty weak run defense. And I would still make Ramondre the favorite to get the bulk of the rushing attempts.
Really?
So.
You make him the favorite over Travion Henderson. How many beers for you, Lawrence?
Well, I'll say 2. Travion Henderson did lead the team in carries last week. I think that was much ado to the 2 fumbles that Ramondre Stevenson lost. And that's why I can't picture them not trying to give him more opportunities. So just 2 beers for me on Travion Henderson.
Tennessee at Houston. Titans dogs by more than a touchdown as they head to H-Town. Nick Chubb, how many brewskis would you need?
I'd want 2.5. Like, I'd want to have 2, and I'm working my way through 3. So, look, there's some positives here. Lawrence sort of referenced it, right, in terms of how both these teams struggle. Tennessee specifically allows the 4th most rushing yards per game. And, and to your point, as you mentioned, Houston is a heavy favorite here, but played only 1 more snap than Woody Marks. He's been under 15 touches in all 3 games so far this season. I'm at running back 28, so he's a touchdown-dependent flex. So I'd be a little nervous. Like, again, I'd want, 2 beers and feeling pretty good, a little loosey on my way to a 3rd, It's like, all right, yeah.
We've seen your action.
Well, I know you have. Last night. You have and Lawrence have, not Jay. Jay did the Irish goodbye.
Yeah.
Like, Jay was like 3 sheets to the wind, and all of a sudden we looked up, where's Jay?
Yeah.
We could tell that Jay was feeling good because the decibel level increased about 3x. It was a 30-person table hang. Jay's voice far and away the loudest of everyone.
In Australia, they call him Ramblin' Jay when he gets to that point. That's what they call him back in the day.
Yeah.
I was in heat. I was on fire.
I knew he was
I was
feeling
cooking.
no pain when he was saying, you could easily drink the most at fantasy football pregame. And then 5 minutes later, he's asleep in his room. So it was quite the turn of events.
Poor performance.
Will it be a poor performance for Tony Pollard, Jay? How many beers?
Poor is not the adjective I'd use, George. But 2 beers for Tony Pollard. He is still obviously the lead back of workhorse back, one of the few. He's a 7-point dog against Houston, who have a tough defense, but still Tony Pollard, still starting him with relative confidence. There's a RB2, a mid to low end RB2.
Preseason, it seemed like it would be a good fit. Cam Ward, Calvin Ridley. Cam Ward loves to push it downfield. Calvin Ridley excels in that. They haven't synced up through 3 weeks. How many beers would you need for week 4 to start Ridley?
It still could be something, but I would need 3.5 beers. And the reason it's not 4 or 5, because I still believe he's the best receiver on that team, but he's wide receiver 72 in fantasy points per game. And in this game, 39.5 over under. Yeah, I need 3.5 beers to start Calvin Ridley in fantasy this week.
Makes a lot of sense. Jacksonville at San Francisco. Ricky Pearsall. He's been a breakout player through the first 3 weeks, Matthew.
Yeah, 29% target share in week 3, 100 yards in 2 of the 3 games. So I'd say just 1.5 beers, just enough to be social, really. You know what I mean? Like that. Now that's an amount that'll put Jay under, but for me, that's just, that's the
put
cost
him right
of
in
doing,
bed, huh?
Yeah, that's the cost of doing business. That's just like, hey, what's up? You sit down, hey, how's everyone doing? You're having a drink, and like, yeah, another round, and you're like, absolutely. Ricky Pearsall, get him in your lineup. Wide receiver 25. He's 7th among wide receivers in yards per route run so far this season. I do think the return of Brock Purdy going against Jacksonville will help stabilize this offense.
Jay, I'm guessing you got to hold your nose if you're starting Trevor Lawrence. How many beers?
Yeah, first I just want to point out that Matthew Barry has just no right to talk about anyone's drinking. He's the only man on planet Earth who chases Chardonnay with Diet Coke.
To be clear,
What that tastes like?
that is absolutely not true. It is a lie because it's Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, right.
Which I got you one from the bar last
Pinot
night, so I know
Grigio.
that's your order.
It is
Sorry.
Pinot Grigio. Pinot Matty.
Pinot Matty.
Yeah, that's fair. Pinot Trev, maybe 3 beers for me on Trevor Lawrence. He's very much, I think we just know what he is at this point.
Yeah.
There's going to be picks. He should have volume. I think that his defense is improved, but still not great. I think he's just the definition of like a QB2 who you're not inspired by. Fine if he's your second quarterback in a Superflex league, but certainly you don't want him as your QB1 in a 1 QB league.
With the inconsistency with Trevor Lawrence, that has festered down to BTJ, has been dealing with that wrist injury. Sluggish start to the season, Lawrence. How many beers?
Yeah, so I would need 3 beers to start Brian Thomas Jr. basically for what all that Jay just said, plus the fact that he's the 3rd leading receiver on the team, hasn't had a game over 55 receiving yards yet. I don't like this passing offense at all, but the reason this is 3 and not 4 or 5 because it's still Brian Thomas Jr., so you got to have some middling ground there, but 3 beers for me to start him.
To our last game, Colts at the Rams. We're going to start it up with Michael Pittman Jr. for what has been a resurgent Colts offense with Daniel Jones.
A renaissance, as some of my friends call it. Look, he's had at least a 24% target share in 2 or 3 games so far this year, 19 or more fantasy points in both those games. I'm always with Michael Pittman. You're always nervous about what's the touchdown equity. I think he's more of a floor play than an upside play, and I do think the Rams at home will play tougher defense. So I'd say 2 beers. I'd say 2 beers, like, starting to feel a little buzzed, but not that worried yet. Not having to, So 2 beers for Michael Pittman. I'm at wide receiver 32 this week.
This next player might be enough where it put Jay down for the count. Josh Downs. 2 mouths to feed in the Colts offense. You think Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman. You add in a 3rd with Downs. Is there enough in this passing attack to support him as a viable fantasy starter?
System of a Downs? No, there's not, George. 4 beers for me here. Also, A.D. Mitchell is going to take up stuff on the outside as being the pure X. Jonathan Taylor is getting used more in the receiving game as well. And just Pittman and Warren, they do a lot of the same stuff that Downs does. I think they do a little bit better than him, perhaps. I still like the talent of Josh Downs, just doesn't seem to get the usage. Also, the Colts, they run the ball a ton. Like, they're a very low pass rate over expectation team, so he's a desperation flex for me.
They know what works for them, and it's a heavy dose of Jonathan Taylor.
Number 28.
Who, having that viable rushing attack, has really helped prop up Daniel Jones. So how many beers would you need to start Indiana Jones?
Yeah, 1.5, and that's really because of the matchup. Even though it doesn't look like a good matchup, there's something to be said, fantasy football aside, from when you're a quarterback, you're being good, you're consistent, and you got control of the offense. Those things will beat any defense any day. So he's quarterback 4 in fantasy points per game right now, so just 1.5 beers for Mr. Daniel Jones.
Matthew Berry taking it easy, only 6 beers. I think Jay's overcompensating. He had 12, Lawrence 10, so a 12-pack.
I've been known to do that.
Right. For Jay Croucher.
I just hope Jay doesn't get up and leave in the middle of the set without saying
At least
goodbye.
let us know.
Just like he did last night.
People there. What am I going to do? Stand up, make an announcement like I'm
Yes.
accepting an Oscar?
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm departing.
Yeah. No, you know what you
normal
do.
you would say, hey, nice
you know what
meeting
you
you.
do?
Yeah.
Yes,
You know what you
exactly.
do?
Yeah.
Hey, great evening. Nice meeting you guys.
I really enjoyed it.
No, go up to each person individually.
Yeah, shake
and
their
say,
hand.
Yeah,
Yes.
every single person.
Good day, good
including
day,
us.
good day. No,
Yes.
no.
Yeah.
You just
I loved
get out.
hearing about, and you remind them what you talked about. I loved hearing about your daughter in school.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so nice to hear about your experience.
No,
yeah.
It's
You do
not
that.
for me.
No,
Not for me.
the proper thing would have been to just be like, hey, guys, great to meet you, and then just walked out. But just like an acknowledgement that you were getting up and leaving. as opposed to slinking away
Now,
quietly.
Tail between
To
his
be
legs.
fair,
Yes.
again, Croucher cops the brunt of it as always. Producer Pete did the exact same thing
Yes,
before
he
me.
did.
Doesn't mean it's right.
And,
It
and
doesn't mean it's a
Just
terrible
bring
move
it-
to follow.
he was the original
He bringing you
Irishman.
down
Make
with
no
he bringing you
mistake.
down with him, Pete.
make no mistake.
Well,
this
it's-
will come up on Wednesday when backup producer Pete
It should.
is yes, but backup producer Pete was, not 3 sheets to the win, but like 7.
Yeah. Well, Jay's performance last night as bad as his bets cashing so far this
Wow.
season on
It's been a
pickup
little
line.
cold.
0 for 3. Lawrence's 1-2 record. It combined 1-5 guys. We gotta pick up the slack.
We're gonna get back right.
Yeah,
today.
you guys have taken me home, and I've been disappointed.
and it'll
A
start.
lot of frustration.
It'll
Lot
start
of
right
frustration.
here. All right, here we go. Right here, Matthew.
Yes,
and,
sir.
Right here in good old Texas, Texas forever. You know what I mean? Matthew Golden. You talked about him this whole show. You think he's gonna break out today? Well, I don't even need him to break out really. Just get 70 receiving yards at plus 198. Last week played a season high 70% of the snaps, 4 catches, 52 yards. So now they're finally starting to using him. Dallas has allowed the most receiving yards to wideouts, 661. They're the only team over 600 yards right now. And like I said earlier, there's no way you look at what Caleb Williams did last week against this Cowboys defense and say, oh, let's just try to run. Nah, Matthew Golden, he's getting that 70 yards, probably more, but 70 yards plus 198. There you go. His hometown, your hometown, too. So there you go, man. Texas all day.
Okay, very good, Lawrence. So I need a win, 0-3, and so who better? When you need a win, you need to go with someone you trust, someone who you understand will just get the assignment done. And so that's why I'm going with Baby Oil Bryce Young, over 202, over 202.5 passing yards. He's going up against the Patriots defense. The Patriots in week 1 allowed 362 passing yards to Geno Smith. Week 2, they allowed over 300 yards to Tua Tagovailoa. Last week, Aaron Rodgers didn't need to throw, so we'll just forget about him from the sample. But the Panthers are 5.5-point dogs. Bryce Young, who has screwed me in this segment before, and he owes me. But me and Bryce, we're going to get it done this week. He goes for 203 plus.
Christian Gonzalez back for the Patriots in that secondary as well. I'm going home with Lawrence. I agree. Even though, listen, 70's a big number. He always loves to go for the plus money, but Lawrence is taking me home. Get the baby oil. We're going home. Matthew Golden, breakout game tonight in his home state. Played college ball in the state of Texas. I think he gets deep for 1, which gets him on the way to 70. So I'm going home with Lawrence. Give me Matthew Golden, 70 or more receiving yards, alt line on DraftKings.
Applaud that pick because Jay would probably ditch you. So you have the security of Lauren actually taking you all the way home.
Oh, for sure.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Lawrence.
With the winning bet.
The slander on the
1000%.
previously okay Croucher name.
Yeah.
Previously okay.
Lawrence.
Not a good name, but
when
an okay
Lawrence
name.
commits, Lawrence
Previously
sticks with
mediocre.
it.
Yeah.
This is a true story. This is what you missed last night.
Yeah.
Lawrence and I, as we always do, Lawrence and I are always the last to leave, and we met somebody who is a baby mama of an NFL player. I'm not going to say who.
That's when the good stuff happens.
I don't know. We were giving her advice all of a sudden. She came over because she recognized me, or somebody in her party recognized me, and I need sports advice. I'm like, what do you got? And then she's telling us her life story about this NFL player that she's with or sort of with, and that she's.
And then you said, I give fantasy football advice.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're just,
a little out of my lane.
We were just
Oh,
like,
boy.
Lawrence, what do we do? Lawrence,
Do you want to take the over or the under? That's all I want.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It was.
Jay was deep in his REM
It's
cycle.
never boring when Lawrence and I are out.
Hey.
That's for sure.
Rem Croucher, they call me.
Yep. Oh, there's your guy.
There he is.
Dialed pregame.
Baby Oil Bryce, one of the 35 best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Hey,
Well,
what does that
Alabama won
mean?
last night, so maybe.
What a pump up tweet there.
BY9?
Ready to take the field. Wow.
That's not a good nickname. It's like BYO. It's not good.
We're going to bring it on home here, Week 4 Fantasy Football pregame. More to come on the other side of the short break. We got this. Can NBC Peacock leave you guys in the desk on the field tonight? I want to watch the hashtag FF pregame cast later tonight, Matthew. What say you?
I say sure, but as you have probably guessed, I have no decision-making power at NBC or Peacock. I don't think, and honestly, I don't really want to do that, and I'll tell you why. Because if we did that, somebody might be aware this show exists. I'm of the belief that management does not watch our show, and that's the only reason we've been able to get away with this, is that they don't realize we're actually broadcasting a show.
We keep getting away with it.
Everyone's going to learn about this show where Matthew Berry, in about 3 minutes, does a Tyrese Halliburton and tears his Achilles doing a 40-yard dash at Cowboy Stadium.
Hey, now, you bet.
Matty's in big trouble.
Listen,
You can't
don't say
speak
that,
this-
because then if it's you,
happens. Yeah, or
It could be
it's
me.
you.
It could be me. Yeah. Just
Karma.
Call me Jason Tatum. Yeah.
You know what? The fantasy football god's smiting you. From ADD54 JCU on Twitter, do I have grounds to sue any experts that hyped up Ladd McConkey as a #1 fantasy wide receiver when it appears he's the third option on his own team? Hashtag FF pregame.
You know what you do, and that expert is Jay Croucher. You can absolutely, you can sue him.
Did Ladd
You
McConkey
can
make the love list in the preseason?
I don't believe he did, actually. Well, look, it's early. Here's what I
Fair
would
question.
say.
Very fair question.
It's a fair question. Listen, we live in a country, honestly, where you can sue anyone for anything. So knock yourself out. I'll just tell you lawsuits are expensive and long.
Jay went to law school. I don't know if that's the guy you want
I
to go
am
after.
technically a lawyer. And yes, you can. You can sue Matthew Berry for his takes on Ladd McConkey.
Yeah, but I
Greatness
think,
of America.
I will say, if you're going to sue me, I had much worse takes than Ladd McConkey. I don't think Ladd McConkey was on the love list, but I still think he's the best wide receiver on that team. Patience.
Agreed.
All right.
Mikey Mike 13-19. The swollen anklers in my flex half-point PPR. Chase Brown, Godwin, or Debo.
Chase Brown. I'm going with Chase Brown.
Chase
here.
Brown.
Chase Brown.
This
Chase Brown.
This is him getting off the schneid this week.
He's due. It's got to happen. We got another question. Johnny the Bartender. Jawan Kincaid are worthy to solve my flexual underperformance.
Jawan.
Probably
Jennings, I agree.
Jawan
I agree with
Jennings,
Jay.
yeah.
Highest ceiling,
Yes.
definitely Jawan.
All right.
And we're just
another one.
ripping through as many questions as we can on Fantasy Football Pregame Week 4 with you until the top of the hour for the early slate of games. Pick 2 in full point PPR, Chase Brown, Drake London, Matthew Golden, and Jake Ferguson. Hashtag FF Pregame. Hashtag release the ankles, which is happening soon.
Yeah.
The ankles will be released in Big D.
Eric, I get it because you know how pro I am, Jake Ferguson, but I think the first two players are the answers here. Chase Brown and Drake London. I think Drake London has a big game today, too.
Agreed.
And we got one game already final, 24-21, Steelers over the Vikings. That score final in Dublin. Brandon James, hashtag FF pregame for Barry's ankles. Need 2 wide receivers and a flex. London, Ibuka, Godwin, QJ, and Dobbins.
I think it's London, Ibuka, and Dobbins for me.
Yes. Yep.
Yep.
I want to see Godwin. I mean, we expect him to have a good role, but you just don't know.
I'll be honest now, he has to be on a snap count the first game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
How about bar trivia?
Bar trivia, crushing you guys like a great.
Begrudgingly, I have to give Matthew his due. One person has limped over 500 in the show. This is Matthew Berry, 22-21-1. Lawrence and Jay both well under 500. Matthew has a commanding lead, so we will start with the People's Champ through 3 weeks. Matthew Berry, more fantasy points, Drake London or Debo Samuel?
Detective Drake London.
Drake London.
London.
More total yards, James Cook or Alvin Kamara?
Cook.
James Cook.
James Cook.
More rushing yards, Jahmyr Gibbs or Quinshawn Judkins?
Gibbs.
Gibbs.
The Gibbler.
More passing yards, Drake May or Bryce Young?
Drake May.
Drake.
Bryce Young.
Oh, wow, look at you.
Ooh. Dissension in the ranks. More receiving yards, Malik Neighbors or Ladd McConkey?
Neighbors.
Dang. Malik Neighbors.
McConkey.
Interesting.
Uh-oh. You might have a pending lawsuit depending on what happens here week 4. More fantasy points, Saquon Barkley or Bucky Irving?
Saquon.
Saquon. Do it.
Yeah, no, Bucky Irving. Screw it.
Okay, we can't have you stall too much. Your 40 time might take more than the allotment for the rest of the show. More rushing yards, Tony Pollard or Nick Chubb?
Pollard.
Pollard.
Give me Pollard.
More fantasy points, Jonathan Taylor or Puka Nacua?
Taylor.
Puka Nacua.
Puka.
More passing yards, Brock Purdy or Trevor Lawrence?
Purdy.
Brock Purdy.
Give me Brock.
More fantasy points, Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes?
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson.
More receiving yards, Rome Odunze or Jacoby Myers?
Myers.
Jacoby Myers.
I agree, Jacoby Myers.
More passing yards, Jordan Love or Dak Prescott?
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love.
Dak Prescott.
More fantasy points, Tyreek Hill or Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
Over under 15 fantasy points for the wide receiver who won the wide receiver triple crown last year, Jamar Chase.
Under.
Over.
Over.
There you go.
All right,
You
we're
guys
doing
ready?
this?
Go time?
Yeah, let's do
We're
it.
going to go to the 40. I'm bringing the mic.
Yeah, I'm bringing the mic.
You got to run with the
You
mic.
got to run with the mic, Matthew. Run with the mic. We're going out to the 40.
Out to the 40.
This could be the best or worst television we've ever done on fantasy football pregame.
We got these
Who's
little
gonna cue us?
I'll cue us because I have the big decibel voice apparently. I'll count us 3, 2, 1, go, okay?
we got these walkie-talkies.
3, 2, 1, go.
Wait,
All right.
no. What are you doing?
No, he's saying.
I will count us in.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, God. I'm keeping up. I'm keeping up for you guys.
Croucher.
Come on.
I think Lawrence won, but
That
I
was
didn't
actually-
George.
Hamstrings are intact.
crushed
Achilles are
Matthew.
intact.
Did everybody finish?
That was
With no
actually
injuries.
a competitive race. No one's injured. A win all around.
Yeah. But as you guys can
Jeez,
see,
I'm fast.
I'll be honest with you. You guys should be embarrassed because I'm like 20 years older than Jay. I'm literally 20 years older than Jay, and he barely beat me.
What do you mean?
That's embarrassing.
It's 40
look.
yards. You can't create much separation. I beat George is the main thing.
George, did you get last?
No, I beat Barry.
I was.
It was close, though.
I couldn't.
I was trucking. Trucking to
Dude
the
says
finish.
I have Matthew pulling up lane by the 15. I thought about it.
That was way closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah, thank you.
Kind of an indictment of
It
Lawrence.
was
Thank you,
surprising
Trey
that he
Guys.
was so close to us.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm keeping up with you guys.
I was all
See,
excited.
That's why we had you grab the mic for the commentary during the show.
I did think about that we were going to get there and go like, right, ready, set, go, and then I was just going to like walk off, like just not do it. But,
Yeah.
But I decided to play along.
Nah,
Yeah,
man,
Lawrence
you
out here
did-
running like a young Matthew Berry. You're right. Yes, Johnny
But see,
the
that
bartender.
was like a prelim for me, though.
All right, Matthew, taking
The
off.
ankle
right.
was moving.
You're damn right he was. Damn right he was. I didn't get a warm up. I need to put baby oil on the legs. Hey, listen, it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. We'll see you for Football Night in America later tonight. For Lawrence, George, and Jay, I'm Matthew. Go get yourself a win. Peace out.